It's 100 degrees. Sip with me. I'll pour it hot, so hot. I'll pour it sweet, so sweet. Spilling his tea, spilling and sipping his tea, spilling and sipping his tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your 100 degree, feeling great, spilling tea. Have a seat and join me. Sip some tea, unwind with me. Let's grab a snack and talk some smack. I'm your girl, I got your back. I got the news, I got the views. I bet you can't wait, I know you can't wait to sip this tea. Sip this tea, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping 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 this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your 100 degrees, shining bright, set the stage. Hollywood dreams, red carpet scenes, glitter and glow, the secrets I know. Drama with flair, I serve it rare. I got the scoop, I got the proof. I know you can't wait, so come and escape and sip this tea. Sip with me, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling this tea, sipping and spilling this tea, sipping and spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea. It's 100 degrees. Sip with me. I'll pour it hot, so hot. I'll pour it sweet, so sweet. Spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your 100 degree, feeling great, spilling tea. Have a seat and join me. Sip some tea, unwind with me. Let's grab a snack and talk some smack. I'm your girl, I got your back. I got the news, I got the views. I bet you can't wait, I know you can't wait to sip this tea. Sip this tea, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping 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 this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your 100 degrees, shining bright, set the stage. Hollywood dreams, red carpet scenes, glitter and glow, the secrets I know. Drama with flair, I serve it rare. I got the scoop, I got the proof. I know you can't wait, so come and escape and sip this tea. Sip with me, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling this tea, sipping and spilling this tea, sipping and spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea.
What's up, everybody? I am back with another war update. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me clear. EJ, how you doing, EJ? Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me clear. For some reason, my browser didn't play my intro. I couldn't hear it. Let me know if you guys can hear me nice and clear. Okay, cool. Thank you. All right, we got some things to get into. Welcome to my subscribers. If you're new here, welcome. We getting ready to get into another war update. But yeah, okay, good. However, we are also going to get into Melania Trump. Some new details came out. Her friend that was actually deported back to Cuba said that she's telling everything. So Melania Trump is trying to get ahead of her story. That's what that is. But I'm going to allow you guys to be the judge of that tonight. So we're going to talk about the war first, and then we'll get into Melania Trump, and then I'll end it with the war. Okay? So without further ado, I'm going to pull up my screen. Diamond Gang, y'all know the drill. Please hit the like. I don't care about a super chat, super sticker, or a cash app. Just a like. It is free. Thank you. All right, let me pull my screen up. Let's go, Diamond Gang. Let's get into these details. Let's get into what's going on.
Of all the people on Trump's team, Donald Trump was the most hawkish when it came to Iran.
He decided to go to war on a gut feeling, period, full stop.
We did extensive interviews to find out how he made that decision.
On February 11th, Benjamin Netanyahu pitched the idea of joint Israel-U.S. strikes against Iran.
He lays out a very aggressive campaign to dismantle Iran's weapons systems. And then he also lays out some scenarios for regime change.
President Trump listened to this and he said, sounds good to me.
But what happened next was actually, in some ways, more interesting.
Overnight, U.S. intelligence analysts very quickly.
Pay attention, Diamond Gang. I've been telling you guys this for a very long time. Pay attention if you stay throughout the entire live. I'm going to start with this, and I'm going to end with this tonight.
Quickly went to work.
The head of the CIA uses one word to describe the assessment of Netanyahu's regime change scenarios: farcical.
Within the next few weeks, there were a number of discussions about what might come next. There was not consensus.
These three Trump advisors show just how varied the opinions were in the administration.
And I want y'all to listen to all three, because I've been telling you guys for the longest, that they talked him into this. Okay. The VP, he did not want it to happen. He has been missing in action and has not been vocal about this war at all. These two, Hegseth and this other joker, I can't remember his name right now, Rubio, they're yes men. They do whatever Trump wants them to do. JD Vance, he don't like what's going on, believe me.
The Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, thought that this was a really good idea.
And it's not a surprise. He was very much chosen for the idea that he believes in flexing U.S. military muscle.
Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, was, I would say, skeptical about a full-scale war, would prefer to continue with a maximum pressure campaign, but was also skeptical that the Iranians would agree to a deal. So he was somewhat ambivalent.
The most actively opposed was Vice President J.D. Vance. He laid out various reasons why this could be complicated, from depleted munitions to the position it would leave the U.S. in going forward.
That it could lead to regional chaos, that it would break apart his coalition. Many of his voters.
If you are a returning subscriber, or you just come in and out every now and then, haven't I been saying this about J.D. Vance from the start? I've been saying this about J.D. Vance from the start. Y'all gonna believe me?
Would see that as a betrayal.
On February 26th, President Trump had a final go, no-go meeting with his team in the Situation Room.
Trump is sitting around the table with his inner circle. It's a very small group.
He asked what people thought.
And Vance starts by saying, well, I think it's a bad idea, but if you do this, I'll support you.
Pete Hegseth remained where he was, believing that Iran was going to have to be dealt with anyway, might as well do it now.
And Rubio says, if the goal is regime change, we shouldn't do it. But if the goal is to degrade Iran's capabilities to wage war, their missile program, that's a goal that we can achieve.
At the end, when President Trump wanted to go forward,
almost everyone deferred to the president's gut instincts. They've watched him survive being indicted, being
Remember, Diamond Gang, he said, I just felt it. I felt it in my guts.
convicted, being shot.
They had seen him beat the odds so many times that it affects how they look at things and what might be doable.
And at 3:38 p.m. the next day, Donald Trump ordered the start of the Iran war.
Netanyahu comes to the White House. In the scene, Trump is not at the...
I've said this plenty of times. Trump pledges the allegiance to Israel. Let's go.
front of the table. He's in a bilateral across from Bibi Netanyahu. And so if you're a European leader listening in, you guys had to sit like school children in front of Trump at the Resolute desk.
And let me tell y'all why I'm starting with this and I'm going to finish with this. As because Bibi is still starting BS. This peace agreement will collapse behind Israel. You watch.
But not Bibi. He's down in the Situation Room, and he's literally being treated as an equal by Donald Trump in the Situation Room.
And Netanyahu is trying to persuade Donald Trump, and he's got on video behind him, he's got the head of Mossad, and he's got people from his team from Israel. So it makes Netanyahu, in the description of this...
Come on, Diamond Gang. I see only 12 likes. I got close to 250 in the building. Hit the like for your girl. I don't care about a cash app, a super chat, or a super sticker. I told y'all a million times how this process works. When I start my day, I start looking for these clips. And I put them in the order of storytelling that I would like to convey to you. Over here in this chat, you're free to say whatever you want, even if it's opposing to what I think and what I say. You just can't be disrespectful. All opinions over here is respected. All I'm asking for, not a super chat, not a super sticker, none of that. A cash app, just a like will do. Keep me in the algorithm, Diamond Gang. Let's go.
Look like he's a kind of equal participant with his whole team aligned behind him, that the Israelis are unified in this message. And the message to Donald Trump is, this is the time to do it. And by the way, it's going to be easy. And by the way,
I told y'all, Bibi made him think that this was a cakewalk. This is what he does. He lies to engage other countries in war. And right now, he wants a civil war. There is territory that Bibi wants to take over. Do y'all hear me? Y'all gonna believe me. Just watch.
it's going to be quick. And by the way, there will be regime change and you'll be able to destroy Iran and you'll be able to do, Mr. President, what no other American president has been able to do. And some American voices in the room who have also leaked, guess who, the ones who are wanting to run for 2028, Marco Rubio and JD Vance, do say they think this is bullshit. They think this is not going to happen. It's a fallacy is one of the words that's described. But critically, none of those Americans say to the president.
So Bibi told him it was a cakewalk. And if you do this, you're going to be the best president to go down in history. You are going to be that guy. And Trump fell for it.
President, you must not do this. This is a very bad idea.
Many Trump supporters predicated that support on the idea that there were tail risks of a Trump presidency, that this was a man who they knew didn't have direct political experience, who they knew could fly off the handle, who they knew might say outrageous things, but fundamentally he had.
It became a reality to every Trump supporter, everybody that voted for this man. Pay attention, y'all.
Their back, and he acted in their interests. And the tail risk of him, a person like Donald Trump having the nuclear codes was just so far out there that we didn't really need to consider them. And I think with truths like that on Truth Social, you see the very real risk that no longer is in the periphery. It's front and center as America faces what I think is a real crisis.
Front and center. It is front, live, and direct.
So I think that from the American public's point of view, you no longer can write off or dismiss certain things that Donald Trump always had, we knew as a possibility, but now are very much at the forefront.
And just to add, it's not just Trump supporters in America thinking.
It's become a reality to a bunch of Trump supporters.
Yeah, it's also Trump supporters abroad who were thinking that in some cases. There was this remarkable moment a couple of weeks ago where Donald Trump flew to Miami for a Saudi-sponsored investment conference. And while he was there on the stage giving a speech, he made a joke about how the Saudi crown prince had to kiss his ass. That did not go over well in Saudi Arabia. The country has already been pulled into a war with Iran, pulled into a regional war. And now the president of the United States is for some reason making off-color jokes about the Saudi crown prince at a Saudi investment conference.
I think Donald Trump has always had a misconception of the nature of American power. And here you see the ways in which he really has undervalued the core strengths of America as a moral, reliable force on the global stage. And when you have statements like that are made before a global audience or a truth like that is put out on the world stage, it fundamentally undermines the credibility of the White House and America in general.
That part undermines the credibility of the White House, not even just the White House, us as a whole, as a country. Diamond Gang, I got 23 likes. Come on, y'all. And almost 300 people in the room. Hit the like for me, please, and thank you.
As a partner.
I think there was a rush into this ceasefire agreement. And so the terms of that ceasefire.
This ceasefire is not going to happen. It's not going to happen. The Straits is barely open. Israel keep doing sneaky shit. It's not going to happen.
Are not fully set or accepted by all the sides. And we're seeing that playing out with the Lebanon issue. We're seeing that playing out with the Strait of Hormuz and the charging of tolls and all of that. Secondary to that, we have the fact that, the 10-point plan from Iran and the 15-point plan from the U.S. administration are very far apart on a number of issues. And so to achieve any type of compromise on that, you need at least some degree of trust. You need, a guarantor, and none of that really.
And there is no trust. There's none between all three. I don't even think that Bibi even trusts Trump at this point.
Exists. I mean, the trust is completely negligible, mostly because of the track record of the United States at the negotiation table with Iran over many years, and the conduct of Israel in breaking every kind of ceasefire agreement it's ever joined. For Trump, this is seen as an unmitigated failure. This war.
And I want to repeat this. You go in with your allies and you have two different objectives and you don't come together as a whole for a plan B or an exit. This is what happens. We got the two different groups of people with different military objectives, different war objectives, different way of thinking. And when you don't come together and plan or a plan B or exit strategy, this is what happens. Iran has been planning for this day for a long time, for over 47 years. 47 years. So I'm telling you guys, this ceasefire is not going to take place. This weekend is going to be a mess.
And then from Netanyahu himself, who is losing, political points back home, this is seen as a failure. And Netanyahu will do Netanyahu things and try to undermine this in any way he can, as he's doing right now in Lebanon. I think one of the things that has guided Iran throughout this war is learning the lessons of the past 2 years. And one of those lessons, the major lesson, was that the caution that Iran displayed in not wanting to go to the war was interpreted not as being, prudent or judicious, or responsible, but as weak, as vulnerable. And that's what led the United States and Israel to carry out not one, but now two wars on Iranian soil. And so, the response to that has been to do the opposite this time, to exact major costs on the United States, on Israel, and on the U.S. allies in the region, and to, and the global economy. And so that's been the kind of Iranian strategy here, which is proving somewhat.
And it's working. That strategy is working for them.
Successful.
Last year, the president assured us that he ended their nuclear ambitions. If he wants to come clean with the American people that he failed to do that, then he has to say that
before he launches a war.
Democrats at that time said, no, you haven't. And then you haven't.
Clearly he hadn't.
Yeah.
Clearly that he hadn't. So then we needed to go back and take care of it, unless you really think it's okay for Iran to have a nuclear weapon.
But again, they don't have a nuclear weapon. They weren't about to get a nuclear weapon.
How do you know? Why do you keep saying they weren't about to go? Steve Witkoff said they had enough fissible material for.
And who is Witkoff? He has no military background. None. So because Witkoff said it, it's believable? Yeah, okay.
11 bombs.
So are you acknowledging the president lied when he said that
I don't know what he did. No one knew what happened at Fordo.
Either he didn't know or he was lying. Okay. Which is it?
Is that really the point? Whether or not
he's stuttering, stumbling, and trying to make excuses. Do y'all know that right now they're trying to force a psych evaluation on the president? They are trying to force a cognitive evaluation on him right now.
Listen, my neighbors in Michigan are paying more for gas.
Whether or not he was knew it was obliterated or not is not the point. If it wasn't obliterated, then you have to do something. You can't go back and say, well, you lied about this,
Joe,
so that we can't actually do what we need to do.
Joe, America is weaker because the president launched this war.
That's your opinion. That's not.
No, but it's clear, and I'll tell you why. Because
we had
when
the
Trump,
Secretary of NATO say the world is a safer place. He just said that yesterday.
His job is to butter up the president. But why do you think the president chickened out on his demand?
Come on, Diamond Gang. I got 260 in the building, 274. Please hit the like. Thank you. Get me to 100 likes.
Why do you think the president backed off of his demand? The president said,
backed off of which demand?
Unconditional surrender. Right now, instead of unconditional surrender, which was the president's demand just 1 month ago.
This is not over yet, number one.
Is this unconditional?
Let me say shouts out to the Diamond Gang. If you were in here last night, thank you for subscribing to the channel. I hit over 3K subs last night after my live stream. I want to say thanks to all that subscribed to my channel last night. I hit another milestone because of you.
I don't know what it's going to end up being.
I'll tell you what we've got.
If the strait reopens again and they have no Navy.
So the best case scenario is the strait being open. The strait was open before he started this.
The man's a psychopath. He needs to be.
That part, the straits was open before it even started. They're acting like this is something big. They're acting like this is something big.
Stop. Maybe a psychiatrist would have some good ideas about how to stop him. But from a political level, grown-up politicians need to start talking about the truth, not the bullshit, that they're using every day. European politicians, pathetic, one after another, except for Pedro Sanchez. Everyone trying to suck up to Donald Trump. Enough. Trump is.
And that's what it is. Too many yes men. This is crazy.
Let
me tell y'all something. He still was threatening them this morning. He said some crazy shit again online. Let's go, Diamond Gang.
Also, because of his mental pathology, speaks like Hitler, operates in this way. So he's without even the veneer of restraint because he doesn't have it psychologically. What president in all of American history has talked about eradicating a culture or civilization?
None. I've never heard this type of rhetoric, this type of talk from a president ever. And I'm 53 years old.
Like Trump did. What president in all of American history has said, open the fucking strait, you crazy bastards? That's a president. That's not some jerk on an email chain. Israel is the rogue state here that has desired this war.
I don't believe in conspiracy theories at all. But in this case, I believe Israel, Bibi specifically, has something on Trump. And Melania coming out trying to distance herself. He caused this war as a distraction. And now he's going to have to face those Epstein files. That's it. That's all. His day is coming.
And encourage this war. And is the most ruthless of all of the countries in the world right now. It comes from a completely twisted ideology that you must kill or be killed. There are a lot of crazy people involved in this in Israel.
That right there, K-I-L-L or B-K-I-L-L. That's some street shit. That's how we living, like thugs. That's the U.S. right now. We're running around trying to bully our allies and being thugs.
Netanyahu, Ben-Gvir, Smotrich, and many, many others. You see them every day parading in their viciousness, their violence, and Israel's involved in wars across the region. So the Israelification of American policy is a very good phrase. America has its own capacity for viciousness, no doubt. It's killed a lot of people, but the brutality of this definitely has an Israeli feel to it.
That part. He's turning us into them. He wants to be a king. He wants to dictate. He wants to bully.
And even a provocation to it.
Donald Trump has gone completely bonkers. If you would have told me 2 years ago that Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, Alex Jones would be some of the loudest voices calling for the 25th Amendment to remove Donald Trump from office, I would have asked if you'd been drinking what Hegseth was drinking. But here we are. And Trump posts a 482-word rant on Truth Social, calling all
They really need to take his phones and his devices.
4 of these ardent supporters of his stupid and with low IQs running third-rate podcasts. He called Tucker Carlson a broken man who needs a good psychiatrist. He went to one of his old go-tos, insulting Candace Owens on her looks, which is what he does for any.
And she claps back at him, and I have it, and we're going to watch it tonight.
Woman who dares disagree with him. He reminded everyone that Alex Jones is absolutely broke.
Come on, Diamond Game. I'm at 36 likes. I need y'all to please. It is very important. It keeps me in the algorithm. I have over 400 people. Please hit the like. All I asked for in the beginning is 100 likes. We got 36. Please and thank you. I don't want to keep stopping, begging for likes. I feel like I shouldn't have to do that because that is free. I'm not asking for anything else.
Because he was lying about Sandy Hook. And for Megyn Kelly, he brought up the debate question from 2016 like it was yesterday. I mean, he's off his meds. He starts off saying, I know why Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens.
Thank you to those who hit the like.
And Alex Jones have all been fighting me for years, especially by the fact that they think it's wonderful for Iran, the #1 state sponsor of terror, to have a nuclear weapon. And you got to stop for a second and realize that's the capability that we destroyed over a year ago.
That part. Number one, they never said that. Number two, he said we obliterated. That's what he told us. That there was no way. So now he's saying, okay, so you guys are saying it's okay. You told us a year ago that they didn't have the capability. Which one is it? His lies.
Iran had no capability of having a nuclear weapon. Trump goes on to say Tucker, Megyn, Candace, and Alex are stupid people. They know it. Their families know it. And
this crash out was brought on by his wife getting on for the world to see and speaking about Epstein. This is what this crash out was about.
Everyone else knows it too. And they might be. But this is Donald Trump calling them out, calling them nut jobs and troublemakers that will say anything necessary for some free and cheap publicity. He talked about Candace Owens, saying that she was uglier than the First Lady of France. He said that Alex Jones says some of the dumbest things and lost his entire fortune, as he should.
Who thinks this is okay? If you think this is okay and you think this is cool for
his horrendous attack on the family.
Sorry, if you think this is okay and you think that this is cool for a president to be doing these type of things. Put a 1 in the chat. Honestly, put a 1 in the chat. If you think this type of thing, what he's doing is okay, put a 1 in the chat. If not, put a 2. I'm not okay with it.
Families of Sandy Hook shooting victims. He called them losers.
That part. It's not healthy for anyone to hate any one person so much. Here's the thing. It's not even about, when it comes to him, and I don't hate anybody. Do I strongly dislike this man? Absolutely. Absolutely. It's pathetic that this one man is running around with so much hate for other people. I'm going to say this again. It is sad and pathetic for this one man. Mind you, he's the president. To be running around with so much hate for so many people. So you got that you got it twisted. You got that twisted.
And said that they always will be. And of course, he had no problem going after the mainstream media either, saying now the fake news CNN, the failing New York Times, and all of the other radical left news organizations are hailing them and giving them positive press for the first time in their lives. It's insane. It is insane that he is attacking the very people who helped get him elected. He says
that part.
As president, he could get them on his side anytime he wanted to. But when they call, I don't return their calls because I'm too busy on world and country affairs.
No, he's too busy posting on social media. That's what he's doing.
Really? Running that successful Iranian war? What about the Epstein files?
It's done. But at the end of the day, I just feel sorry for him and pray that God touches his heart and soul and free him from the demonic.
That part, God touches him and free him of the demonic influences. Right here. That is pathetic for one man to have so much hate in his heart. And he's running this country.
But at the end of the day, I just feel sorry for him and pray that God touches his heart and soul and free him from the demonic influences that he's under. I mean, it's just that simple. This is a nightmare. We know the Democrats, the left, are absolutely terrible. But when Trump's calling for wiping out whole civilizations and acting like a supervillain, I have to come out and say I don't support it. It's that simple. So again, Trump's own wife came out at an unannounced press conference today and said the Epstein crimes are real and that she wants the victims to be in front of Congress to cover up the end. That's the opposite of what Trump's saying. Looks to me like she's breaking with Trump because she knows the ship's sinking, has found out the truth. Elon left 8 months ago saying he's in the files to cover up.
That part. Elon said that months ago.
Saw any evidence of it, but he's acting like he's guilty. We know he's protecting Howard Lutnick, who said he didn't know Epstein to go to the island, and he did. So all I can say is this is a terrible day. And it's a nightmare for America and the world, but I'm going to tell the truth, reporting the facts, no matter what it is.
Marco Rubio is plotting, Hegseth is plotting, Jared Kushner is plotting, and J.D. Vance is plotting. Had this kind of fascinating discussion yesterday with a highly placed deep state person who has a daily interaction with.
Let me tell y'all something before we get to Melania Trump and what's going on and the friend coming out and basically saying that she's going to tell it all. Allegedly, Jeffrey Epstein slept with her a year prior to her and Donald Trump getting together. This is the man right here that put this out a while ago. So we're going to get into some things. She contradicted a lot. Let me just say that.
The White House. This person's critique of the moment is that has never seen so many people in the seat of power, let's say, who are so rattled about everything, rattled about their own careers, about what happens tomorrow, and at some level, rattled about how the government continues to operate. The President of the United States, Donald Trump, is also probably rattled.
So we got a bunch of rattled people running the country right now.
Doesn't know what's going on. He does not know what to do.
Where does this leave Pete Hegseth, Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance?
Everybody's plotting.
Everybody's plotting.
Marco Rubio, this is what this person is. Marco Rubio is.
And I can guarantee you what he's saying is real. Everybody is plotting. Hegseth did that purge for a reason. I want y'all to pay attention to everything. He did that purge for a reason. Job security.
Plotting. Hegseth is plotting. Jared Kushner is plotting. And J.D. Vance is plotting, but J.D. Vance doesn't really know how to plot.
When you say plotting, do you mean they're plotting their own futures and they're plotting others' downfalls?
Yes.
And they're plotting because they know they're in a mess and they have to figure out their own way out of it without being blamed.
The question is, how many times is Iran going to fall for the same playbook that Donald Trump runs on them? He says, let's negotiate, then bombs them. Then he says, let's have peace, then he bombs them. Then he says, let's negotiate again, and he's getting ready to bomb them. Keir Starmer of the UK literally just told on Donald Trump that this...
And by no means am I saying the Iranians are angels. I'm not saying that. I'm not. The things that have went on in their country. But you expect more out of your own leader. These lies, not being transparent, it's disgusting.
This entire 2-week ceasefire is just that. It is a ploy to get the more armament of the United States into place so that they can bomb Iran again.
And I believe that. Because these negotiations are not going to go. It's not. That is not what Israel wants. And because Trump pledges the allegiance to Israel, he can't wrangle them in and get a hold of them. So they're going to do what they want to do. Please know that. Come on, y'all. I'm at 67 likes. And I'm showing, okay, close to 5. I had almost 6 in here. Come on, y'all could get me to 100 likes. We got a lot of information to cover, and I do not want to keep begging for no likes. It's free.
I had a discussion with President Trump last night. We've been pulling together a coalition of countries, now over 30 countries, working on a political and diplomatic plan, but also looking at military capabilities and actually the logistics of actually moving vessels through the strait. So that was...
Do y'all hear this? I'm telling you guys, they are preparing for a massive escalation. Trust me. Trust me.
The focus of the discussion last night.
So do not be surprised. I said it right here on the Daily Rumble. Within a week, 2 weeks max, the United States will be bombing Tehran again. But this time, they'll be bringing some friends because that's what this entire ceasefire is about. Getting more people on board to annihilate Iran.
This is perhaps Trump's most unhinged, most scary.
Now, this is a post he made today. Diamond Gang, New World Order. Let's go.
Post yet. And it's because he's referring to the aims in Project 2025 nearly being complete. He's talking about a complete global reset, a reset of all our economic policies.
He said today, world's most powerful reset.
Our global policies, our foreign policies, our politics, how we do things, and a major rise to nationalism. It requires, however, the destruction of the global world order as we've known it our entire lives. And this is what we're seeing. This is why we have so much chaos going on in the world now. And it was described that we would be feeling what they call short-term pain, extreme short-term pain, expected to be short-term. They don't know. In exchange for...
This is Trump's plans. Are y'all ready? Are y'all ready? Get ready.
Long-term prosperity afterwards. But where does that leave everyday Americans? Where does that leave us? Who is going...
Some of us will be homeless. by the time he's out of office.
To feel the gains later. And what is the pain going to be? What is the cost going to be? And right now, the costs are severe, and the costs are resulting in American service members' lives. This cannot be tolerated. This has to end. One man does not get to make that decision.
We have breaking news right now. Congress is...
Now, this is in regards to Congress trying to get him a cognitive test. He needs one.
Asking the White House for a cognitive exam of President Donald Trump. House Judiciary member Jamie Raskin, the ranking member on the committee, has formally requested that the United States president submit to a cognitive examination. Quote, experts have repeatedly warned that the president has been exhibiting signs consistent with dementia and cognitive decline. And in recent days, the country has watched.
So are y'all cool with someone with dementia running the country? Are y'all cool with that? Remember, I think it was almost 2 months ago, the governor of California, he teased him about being dyslexic. That was disgusting. It was. That doesn't mean that you're dumb because you're dyslexic. And that's what he said. He says the most ignorant, just dumb shit out of his mouth.
President Trump's public statements and outbursts turn increasingly incoherent, deranged, and threatening. Here's what Congressman Raskin asks of the White House physician: conduct a comprehensive neurophysical assessment of the president, including a formal cognitive screening instrument, and publicly release the results. Provide a detailed report on the president's current mental and physical health status, including any medications he is currently taking and their potential cognitive side effects, and making him available under oath.
What's fake? What's fake, fake, fake? Put it in the chat, Tim. Put it in the chat. What's fake? What's fake? Right. And he made fun of Biden for having dementia.
The doctor that does the cognitive exam with members of Congress of the results of the assessment by April 24th, 2016. In 2 weeks. Spread the word. Follow for more.
Breaking news as Democratic Congressman Jamie Raskin has formally requested a comprehensive cognitive test on President Trump after his wild remarks from over the weekend. This appears to be part of a broader push to build a case for invoking the 25th Amendment, which would allow for the removal.
Didn't I tell you guys this wasn't going to go away? And he thought that it would by doing the ceasefire. They were trying to evoke either the 25th Amendment or get him impeached. I told y'all this. I said they're going to give him hell. This is not going to go away just because he called a ceasefire and lied on the Iranians, saying that they were begging for it.
Of a president who is deemed unable to discharge the powers of the president. Raskin sent a letter to White House physician Sean Barbabella requesting this cognitive exam. Raskin insisted that he...
So if he's healthy, he shouldn't have no problem taking it, right? Hey, I'm healthy. I'll take it, pass, and we can move on, right? Shut all the rumors down. That's not Donald Trump. He's going to run and find a way to get out of it. Trust and believe.
Conduct a comprehensive neuropsychological assessment of the president along with a cognitive screening instrument and release the results publicly.
Thank you, Diamond Gang. I need 15 more likes. I got 455 in the room. I know there's 15 people in here that's loving this content right now. I need those 15 to hit the like. Get me to 100 likes. Keep me in the algorithm, Diamond Gang.
Raskin said that Trump's demand to open the fucking strait and the threat to kill Iran's whole civilization are plainly out of the realm of normal politics. Raskin wrote, "We have indisputably entered the realm of profound medical difficulty and concern." Raskin also asked for a report on Trump's physical and mental health, including a list of any medications he's currently taking and their potential cognitive side effects. He also wants Barbabella to make himself available for a briefing under oath with members of the House Judiciary Committee on the results of this assessment. Raskin sent this letter just before he is set to give a briefing on the 25th Amendment to fellow House Democrats.
So if he's healthy, there shouldn't be a problem, right? There shouldn't be. Well, we'll find out. And you know I'm going to go live about it. So subscribe to the channel and keep your notifications on.
Now, will this actually happen or go anywhere? Probably not. The White House is unlikely to comply with this. Trump will likely deny this, but you never know. Maybe he will go through with it. I'm not sure which is scarier, the fact that Trump might be cognitively impaired, or if he's found to have passed all these exams, that he was doing these actions of sound mind. Let me know what you think about this.
That part. Now, that would be scary.
And I'll see you back here for the 411.
Vladimir Putin just sent the United States and Israel a warning, as Iran's parliament speaker is now saying that time is running out to make a deal. Here's what Putin had to say.
Russia, Iran's buddies. Remember, Diamond Gang, they were helping them with intelligence and drones. Okay, so let's listen to what Trump's buddy Putin had to say.
In a multipolar world, there will be no hegemons. This basically means in a world where there are multiple different superpowers, no one country gets to act like a ruler. And at the same time, Iran's parliament speaker...
So he's basically telling Bibi and Trump, because that's basically what they're trying to do, especially Bibi, trying to start the civil war. Nah, ain't no one person going to rule this world, okay?
Made this post right here referencing the 10-point plan, saying that time is running out to make a ceasefire deal. Trump's not having a good night at all, because in addition to everything else, Melania Trump decided to give a public statement without Trump's knowledge about Epstein. She directly contradicts Trump's DOJ and says that Epstein was not alone, and even urges Congress to act and hold public hearings to allow Epstein's victims to testify under oath. After all of this happened, Trump went on a rage-posting spree on Truth Social, saying things like Iran better not be charging fees to tankers going through the Strait of Hormuz.
Now that is why I think he has dementia, because you're saying they shouldn't be, they better not be charging. They've been, and you knew this. That was part of the plan to cease fire. They've been charging $2 million for each ship for almost 2 weeks. For him to act surprised, is it another one of his lies, or did he forget? That's what I want to know. Was it one of his lies, or did he forget? A lie to save face?
And if they are, they better stop now. He also posted a very disturbing video that shows a woman getting her life taken by a man with a hammer, and he claims in this giant...
He put this on True Social. This man beating this woman. Like, who does this type of shit?
Caption that Joe Biden let this criminal illegal alien into our country, and they're from Haiti. The walls seem to be closing in around Trump right now. His wife went behind his back and talked about Epstein. His best friend sent him a warning, and Iran's parliament speaker is saying that time is running out.
So he literally put a video up of a Haitian man beating his wife with a hammer. This is sick. Just like he put the Obamas in monkey suits. Y'all cool with this? It's 2026.
It's worth remembering it is an absolutely vital waterway to global oil and gas supplies, and it was supposed to have been fully reopened as part of this ceasefire, but only 7 ships passed through yesterday. President Trump accusing Iran of doing a very poor job, quotes, dishonor.
And guess why they're doing a poor job? Because his buddy, Bibi, keeps bombing after he agreed to a ceasefire yesterday.
Some would say, of allowing oil to go through that strait. The president also adding, this is not the agreement we had. There are also potentially deal-breaking differences between US and Iranian positions ahead of talks, not least over the issue of nuclear enrichment. Despite this huge pressure the agreement's under, President Trump expressing optimism, but without significant compromise, it's hard to see how a lasting deal can be struck.
Look, we're looking.
Thank you, Diamond Gang. I am at 100 likes. I appreciate everyone that hit that like button for your girl. Let's go.
Looking forward to the negotiation. I think it's going to be positive. We'll, of course, see. As the President of the United States said, if the Iranians are willing to negotiate in good faith, we're certainly willing to extend the open hand. If they're going to try to play us, then they're going to find that the negotiating team is not that receptive.
But here's the thing. They keep saying that they are slow at negotiations. The reason B is because they don't trust us. They don't. So I'm hoping this guy right here, make a difference. Because those other two, Kushner and Witkoff, they don't trust them. They don't.
We're going to try to have a positive negotiation. The president has gave us some pretty clear guidelines, and we're going to see. So I hope you guys have a safe flight. We'll certainly take some questions later on. But for now, let's get on the plane and hit the road.
The scene set in Pakistan's capital, Islamabad, for the US-Iran talks happening amid tight security. The roads are empty. A lot of secrecy as well, more that we don't know than we know. The US has a 15-point plan. Iran has a 10-point plan. The core to both of them, the US wants the Strait of Hormuz to be opened. Iran is saying it won't come to the table here unless Lebanon ceasefire is included in the bigger US-Iran ceasefire. Pakistan says it is honored to host the talks.
Shouts out to Pakistan. I said that last night. They put this deal through. They made it happen. So shouts out to them.
All right. So the ceasefire between the United States and Iran is on thin ice, kind of where it started. And it's, kind of moving in the direction of this might not happen at all. I mean, the speaker of Iran's parliament just a few moments ago said that two of the measures mutually agreed upon between the parties have yet to be implemented: a ceasefire in Lebanon and the release of Iran's blocked assets prior to the commencement of negotiations. So digging into those a little bit, first off, Vice President Vance is leading the U.S. delegation. They've already departed the United States for Pakistan. The Iranian delegation is a shorter flight. So don't have-
Listen, Diamond Gang, it has come to light that we paid Iran to sit down and talk. We gave them money. I'm going to play that too.
That doesn't take them as long to get there, but they have not departed Iran from everything that we've seen. They might not even sit down, according to Iran, if these two conditions aren't met. The Lebanon ceasefire, this was back, forth, up, down, and sideways the other day. It sounds like everybody now has agreed that Lebanon is included in the ceasefire, but the fighting hasn't.
So you heard it. Lebanon is now included. Everybody has agreed, but the fighting has not stopped. Again, Bibi, Israel. This is the reason why this will not go through.
Stopped there. Now, earlier today, we saw Israeli strikes against Hezbollah targets in Lebanon. We saw Hezbollah strikes inside of Israel. I don't know who started that. I don't know who's reacting to what. It doesn't really matter right now because Iran is pointing to the fact that fighting is happening and saying because that fighting is happening, we are not going to sit down and talk with the United States. So that's, problem number one.
Israel is going to sabotage this shit. You watch.
Problem number two are these blocked assets, which is actually the first time that Iran has brought this up publicly. So according to Gregory Brew, a senior analyst at the Eurasia Group, he says there are $6 billion in Iranian assets frozen.
I want y'all to listen to this. Listen.
Qatar and about $4 billion elsewhere. He noted that this might be a negotiating tactic to try to, now that Vance is in the air getting ready to talk, that we don't want to lose that momentum. And maybe the United States would open up this on or about $10 billion in cash to Iran to get them to the negotiating table.
Did y'all hear that? We paid them to get them to the negotiating table. Who's begging? Who is begging, us or them? Trump said they were begging for a deal. Don't sound like it right here. I'm going to take this back and I'm going to shut my mouth and I want y'all to listen again. We paid them to negotiate. Mind you, they're charging $2 million a pop for each ship that goes through. They're making money on top of money. He put them in such a good position. It's ridiculous.
Departed the United States for Pakistan. The Iranian delegation is a shorter flight, so that doesn't take them as long to get there, but they have not departed Iran from everything that we've seen. They might not even sit down, according to Iran, if these two conditions aren't met. The Lebanon ceasefire, this was back, forth, up, down, and sideways the other day. It sounds like everybody now has agreed that Lebanon is included in this ceasefire, but the fighting hasn't stopped there. Now, earlier today, we saw Israeli strikes against Hezbollah targets in Lebanon, and we saw Hezbollah strikes inside of Israel. I don't know who started that. I don't know who's reacting to what. It doesn't really matter right now because Iran is pointing to the fact that fighting is happening and saying because that fighting is happening, we are not going to sit down and talk with the United States. So that's, problem number one. Problem number two are these blocked assets, which is actually the first time that Iran has brought this up publicly. So according to Gregory Brew, a senior analyst at the Eurasia Group, he says there are $6 billion in Iranian assets frozen in Qatar and about $4 billion elsewhere. He noted that this might be
Let me stop this. You said if they wanted to make a deal, they'd open the straits. Why would they do that? That's their leverage. If they said ceasefire, then they need to stop. Why would they open the straits when Israel is still attacking them? Answer that. That is their only major card that they can play, is the straits. So why would they open it if they're still being attacked? Let's go. Again, they paid the Iranians to come to the negotiation table. Let's go, Diamond Gang.
Negotiating tactic to try to, now that Vance is in the air getting ready to talk, that we don't want to lose that momentum. And maybe the United States would open up this on or about $10 billion in cash to Iran to get them to the negotiating table. I don't know. We don't know, because the terms for these talks are not public, right? We don't even know what the 10-point plan is. The one that Iran released that we were going off of, the White House said it's not that one. It's another one that nobody's ever seen. So we certainly don't know what the preconditions are for this. I'm hard-pressed to believe that the United States right now would agree to paying Iran upwards of $10 billion just to sit down and talk through the...
I believe it. I believe it.
Possibility of a negotiation. But as of right now, as of this recording, $10 billion is on the high side. Some billions of dollars is what Iran is demanding, as well as the ceasefire actually going into place between Lebanon and Israel before they will even talk with the United States.
Did y'all hear that? Before they will even talk. I believe it. That's how bad Trump wants out of this.
Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli prime minister, said Israel will, quote, continue to strike Hezbollah wherever required, but later said he's approved direct talks with Lebanon as soon as possible. Can you talk about what's happening with these negotiations?
The talks remove Lebanon from the wider ceasefire talks that are due to take place between Iran and America tomorrow. That has many Lebanese worried because they wonder what sort of leverage does Lebanon have? It doesn't exactly have a Strait of Hormuz, whereas Iran seems to have a stronger negotiating position. Yesterday, Lebanon's Prime Minister Nawaf Salam made it quite clear. He said that Lebanon, the Lebanese government, will negotiate for Lebanon and that nobody else will do so. So he's very clearly drawn the line between whatever Iran negotiates and what he hopes his government will be able to.
So they want to negotiate, but they want to do it separately. They don't want the Iranians to speak up for them at all.
Negotiate with the Israelis. Just the mere fact of direct talks not only breaks a taboo here in Lebanon, it also breaks a very long-standing law. Since the mid-1950s here, it is considered an act of treason to have any direct interaction with an Israeli. But the Lebanese prime...
So you see that? So this is big. This is big. They said it's an act of treason for them to even interact with Israel. So this is big.
President himself, General Joseph Aoun, about a month ago, called for direct talks with Israel, breaking that massive taboo. Hezbollah, for its part, has said it does not think that Lebanon should be negotiating under fire because it puts it in the weaker position. Some Lebanese fear that this is a ploy by Israel's Prime Minister.
It is a ploy. He wants to start a civil war. He wants to run shit in everybody.
Benjamin Netanyahu to prolong the war under the pretext of, having these talks under fire. The proponents of the talks, I have to say that it is an issue of Lebanese sovereignty, that Lebanon will negotiate any sort of deal with the Israelis. They also say that Lebanon is not a card for the Iranians to wield or to use in any negotiations. And they point out that, well, you don't exactly talk to your friends to make deals, you talk to your enemies. So it's a very, very divisive issue.
In a new post on Truth Social, Donald Trump said the only reason Iranians are alive...
Now, he said this today, gang. He's still saying crazy stuff.
...today is to negotiate, and they actually hold no cards. Take a look. He says the Iranians don't seem to realize they have no cards, except for a short-term extortion of the world by using international waterways. The only reason they are alive today is to negotiate. So they have no cards except for the fate of the entire global economy because they have full control over the Strait of Hormuz. Then down here, he says the Iranians are better at handling the fake news media and public relations than they are at fighting. Even he knows the entire world thinks Iran is winning this war. Trump can act like Iran has no cards and the United States is in full.
They got the biggest card. They have the biggest card ever. This guy,
full control of this war all he wants to, but even he seems to know that he's lying because privately he's been seeking a ceasefire as early as March. The U.S. and Israel.
Again, we know he's a liar. So he's been seeking a ceasefire since March. But he's coming out here saying that they're begging for deals and they debunked his lie 1,000 times.
Israel have achieved none of their objectives in this war at all. Iran's regime has not fallen. They have a more radical leader now. We didn't destroy their ballistic missile program. They're still going to build nukes, and they have full control over the Strait of Hormuz.
Something that they didn't have prior to the war. Oh, boy, he set them up in a better position.
Quote, the Iranians don't seem to realize they have no cards other than a short-term extortion of the world by using international waterways. The only reason they are alive today is to negotiate. Quick response to that, Kaylee.
Yeah, he's clearly showing that he is willing to use hard power. And that is what makes this president different. You look at Joe Biden before him, soft power. What Iran saw was an unfortunate withdrawal from Afghanistan that was disastrous. What they see when they look at this president is someone who's saying hard power is not off the table here. I'm willing to use it, and I'm using it for leverage now.
And as you pointed out,
Israel has committed another massacre this morning in Lebanon, in Nabatea, except this time they didn't strike a Hezbollah location.
So again, Israel went and did some dumb shit.
They struck a Lebanese government building. The official Lebanese government, the same government that they said they wanted to have direct talks with, negotiate a ceasefire deal with. 24 hours ago, they said they wanted to normalize relations with Lebanon. I guess the message here is normalize or we will kill you. Israeli airstrikes targeted a state security office, killing 12 state security personnel. State security in Lebanon refers to their formal intelligence and internal security apparatus. Think of it like the Lebanese CIA. Their roles are intelligence gathering and protecting state institutions. They monitor outside threats. They monitor military activity, espionage activity to protect government officials.
We might as well strap up our boots and hold tight because it's going to be horrible this weekend. I doubt very seriously if there's an agreement made, we'll probably be right back at war within maybe a week or so.
Government buildings, sensitive information. And I shouldn't have to tell you why it is so incredibly alarming that this particular group of government officials was targeted leading up to direct talks. Striking this group of government officials doesn't just knock out Lebanon's security apparatus. It disrupts the state's ability to safely engage in discussions, especially considering Israel and
Bibi is doing everything divisive for this not to happen. This is crazy.
The U.S. have a history of targeting and killing negotiators. If you target the people responsible for intelligence and protections, you are directly targeting the negotiation process itself, opening the door for political assassinations. This attack is so incredibly important. It is not just a strike on state sovereignty or a weakening or a humiliation of the Lebanese government. Israel is laying the groundwork for murdering Lebanese government officials the same way that they did in Iran.
This is what happens when you go to war. Two different objectives and no plan B or exit strategy. Again, we went for different reasons and Israel was in this for different reasons.
The same way that they did in Palestine.
A new report has revealed that Donald Trump changed his mind about including Lebanon in the ceasefire agreement after a phone call with Benjamin Netanyahu. Shortly after Netanyahu publicly vowed to keep striking Lebanon.
Bibi runs Trump. Bibi runs this man.
Trump called him and practically begged him to stop doing this to prevent the ceasefire from collapsing. That same day, Israel carried out the largest bombing campaign in Lebanon since the start of the war, and the day after that, they continued doing it. Following the phone call with Netanyahu, Trump confirmed that Lebanon was excluded from the 2-week truce because of the presence of Hezbollah. This comes after it was discovered that Netanyahu was the one who convinced Trump to start this war in the first place during a secret meeting. He claimed that Iran's missile program will be quickly neutralized and the Strait of Hormuz will remain.
And we went over this in the beginning of the live. He pumped him up and made him believe that he was going to go down in history for this as the best president ever.
Open. He played him a video montage of potential new leaders, and Trump responded by saying, "Sounds good to me." However, many of his top advisors warned him against this plan, such as J.D. Vance, the CIA director, Marco Rubio, and the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
Listen, J.D. Vance was not on board. Rubio said, if we're going in for regime change, then it's a no.
President of the United States is obeying the commands of a foreign leader instead of the CIA director. There's a serious problem.
So the ceasefire, I'd say, is looking very fragile. And then there's the question of Lebanon that the vice president has said that was never on the agenda. The Iranians insist it was on the agenda. I mean, the problem is they're not talking.
Diamond Gang, in a minute, we're getting ready to get into Melania Trump and this Epstein mess. It is a mess. Her friend came out on social media. She's telling it all. So Melania Trump is trying to get ahead of this story.
To each other, they're going through these intermediaries. I'm told that it's not even clear who's talking for the Iranians in this process. The Pakistanis and the Chinese are kind of shuttling backwards and forwards to find somebody to talk on behalf of the Iranians. So I think it's kind of a mess. And even if it's not a mess, I'm not sure how much of a win this looks like for the Americans unless they get that uranium out, in which case we'll be telling a different story. I think it's too soon to say it's failed already. What do you think?
Well, I mean, the fact that the markets think it has not failed sends a message to me that it hasn't failed yet. It's shaky and it's fragile.
It's kind of how I feel this morning after not enough sleep.
Okay, well,
actually, how I feel after this last week.
Trump has been cucked, as the kids would say. Now, I know, I apologize. I know a lot of you don't like that.
Okay, Diamond Gang, I'm at 113. Get me to 150 likes, 150 likes. We halfway through this live stream.
Term. But as people speak today, it is really kind of the best way to describe what we have going on. Iran has posted an AI video of Donald Trump walking off of Air Force One, holding the white flag of surrender. And then later in the same video, Donald Trump is seen kneeling in submission. Now, of course, this is not a real video, but it is representative of the way that a lot of this is actually shaking out and being perceived. Donald Trump posting, quote, "All U.S. ships, aircraft, and military personnel with additional ammunition, weaponry, and anything else that is appropriate and necessary for the lethal prosecution and destruction of an already substantially degraded enemy will remain in place in and around."
So remain in place, which means that we will be over there, and we're going to be over there for quite some time.
Iran. He's essentially saying there's a ceasefire, but we're not moving any assets out of the way. And he continues, until such time as the real agreement reached is fully complied with. Now, Trump is...
And even if there is an agreement, we're going to be over there for a while. Bottom line.
Again, trying to project strength. But what he's actually communicating is that the ceasefire he announced isn't actually taking place yet because it hasn't been fully complied with. He goes on to say, if for any reason it is not, which is highly unlikely, then the shooting starts bigger and better and stronger than anyone has ever seen before. It was agreed a long time ago, and despite all of the fake rhetoric to the contrary, no nuclear weapons, and the Strait of Hormuz will be open and safe. In the meantime, our great military is loading up and resting, looking forward actually to its next conquest. So Trump wants you to not really look at the words that he's using. He's talking about the real agreement, threatening that the shooting starts and declaring the Strait of Hormuz is going to be open and safe at some point in the future. And of course, if these are things that are going to happen at some point in the future, they're not happening right now. And the reality on the ground as of the moment I am recording this in April of 2026, what's happening on the ground is the opposite of what Trump claimed at his big ceasefire announcement. The ceasefire itself, if you can even call it that, is fragile. Strikes continue. The White House doesn't even know who's doing them. There are disagreements over.
We know it's Israel.
What has actually been agreed to. There's basic confusion about what is even taking place. So I guess we can call it an agreement, but it is certainly not stable.
We've got some big news right now, and we may.
All right, Diamond Gang, we getting ready to get into Melania Trump and this Epstein. Like I said, where I started, I will finish. We will go back to the war.
Now know why Melania Trump made her weird Jeffrey Epstein statement, because the Daily Beast released recordings with Jeffrey Epstein where he bragged about a much closer relationship with Melania and Donald.
Listen, y'all, she is running around filing lawsuits. Hunter Biden got a lawsuit for $1 billion from Melania. She is threatening any and everybody right now.
Donald, then she's letting on. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is continuing to attack his own base, attacking MAGA Republicans right now more than he is Democrats, because he's freaking out that they're not supporting him on the war in Iran. And at the same time, he posted a video of a woman being murdered last night. I'm not even making that up. One of the most gruesome videos you will see.
Who does that? He literally posted a video of a Haitian man physically beating his wife with a hammer. That is sick.
I'm not going to show it to you. Don't go watch it. But he tried to use it to highlight illegal immigration. But here's what's in these recordings with Epstein. Epstein claimed that the first time Trump slept with his now wife was on his plane dubbed the Lolita Express. Melania said she had never been on his plane. Epstein also claimed that he was very close for 10 years with Donald Trump, and he was very close to Melania as well. I mean, while Trump continues to lash out at his own base, he continues to attack his own base on truth.
Again, allegedly, he slept with Melania a year before she got with Trump.
Social, seemingly forgetting that Democrats exist right now. Lots of moving parts. I'll have more updates for you soon. Spread the word, follow for more. Melania Trump really doesn't want the media talking about her relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, demanding they stop. So let's talk about her relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. And let me show you two files from the Epstein files that make her claims untrustworthy. First one is this famous email that she even herself referenced. I know personally under this redaction, I was able to find out it is her email and it is Ghislaine Maxwell's email. Melania Trump, out of nowhere, writes to Ghislaine Maxwell. Check.
Now, Diamond Gang, remember, she said she wasn't friends, and that email meant nothing. I don't know anybody that would email a stranger. Not this way, but you be the judge.
And how she is, asking her to give her a call back. This is not just a random one-off casual email. This is something that you do to a friend or an acquaintance that you want to catch up with. She asks, give me a call when you're back in New York. Have a great time. This is another email. Someone unknown sent this to Jeffrey Epstein. Quote, I remember flying back with Donald on his plane that first weekend I went to visit you in Florida. Was the weekend he met Melania and kept on coming out of the bedroom saying, wow, what a hot, you can read that yourself. Obviously, we don't know the full extent of the relationship of Melania, Donald, Jeffrey Epstein, and Ghislaine Maxwell. We have the.
And now she has this man coming to the public saying that he introduced Melania and Trump. Now, this man sent his wife, had his wife deported back to Cuba to get custody of their child. This woman has threatened to tell everything. Let's go, Diamond Gang.
Recordings from Epstein. We have those two emails. Melania Trump directly communicated with Ghislaine Maxwell. And we're now trying to figure out why she came out and gave this impromptu statement. I have my theories. I'm not going to share them until I can verify them. So spread the word, follow for more.
I never been friends with Epstein.
The First Lady forcefully pushed back on what she called fake images and statements, appearing to connect her to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
The lies linking me.
She put a target on herself. This was not a good idea at all.
With the disgraceful Jeffrey Epstein need to end today.
But it's unclear why she chose yesterday to speak out. Even President Trump said he did not know anything about what his wife was going to say.
To be clear, I never had a relationship with Epstein or his accomplice, Maxwell.
But the First Lady did confirm she corresponded with his co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell, in an email released by the Justice Department.
She's definitely trying to get ahead of a big story, and it's coming out. The guy that I actually follow and I share his content to you guys, that woman posted his video today.
In January, as part of the Epstein files, she asked, "How was Palm Beach? I cannot wait to go down. Give me a call when you're back in New York."
My email reply to Maxwell cannot be categorized as anything more than casual correspondence.
And despite photos from the early 2000s of the Trumps with Epstein and Maxwell, the First Lady said they only overlapped in social circles.
I am not Epstein's victim. Epstein did not introduce me.
This is not true, and I'm going to show you guys the proof tonight.
To Donald Trump.
The president's former attorney general, Pam Bondi, is refusing to appear next week to testify on Capitol Hill about the Epstein investigation. In February, Bondi refused to face Epstein survivors at a hearing. Now, the First
Diamond Gang, she still has hope that she's going to still have this close relationship and become someone else bigger. She picked a side. It's Trump's side again.
First Lady says they should have a chance to tell their story to Congress.
Give these victims their opportunity to testify under oath in front of Congress with the power of sworn testimony. Each and every woman should have her day to tell her story in public.
Now, the First Lady's office would not say whether this was in response to any particular allegation or an upcoming report. Instead, they pointed us to a statement from a senior advisor that said, "Enough is enough. The lies must stop."
We have some news right now regarding the Melania Trump Epstein story because a man named Paolo Zampoli.
Listen, I got him on a recorded call talking about this, but this is the man that had his wife deported. Okay.
Is coming out of nowhere to say that he was the one who introduced Melania and Donald, not Jeff.
Let me stop this. I got over 800 people in the room. I need 70 more likes, 69 more likes. Get me to 200 likes, please, y'all. I got over 800 people in the room.
Jeffrey Epstein. After Melania Trump gave her very odd Epstein statement out of nowhere yesterday, Paolo Zampoli, who happens to be a Trump administration official, special representative at the moment, came out, called Sky News out of nowhere and said, no, Melania's right. I'm going to back her up. I introduced the two of them, not Jeffrey Epstein. But here's where things get weirder. The New York Times recently reported that Paolo Zampoli, who is a Trump official, called ICE to detain his ex-girlfriend. His ex-girlfriend, Amanda Angaro, Brazilian model, was detained by ICE in Miami. Angaro also happens to be the mother of Zampoli's child. And he seemingly...
All right, so y'all get what's going on. He had his wife, his girlfriend, deported. This is the one that's threatening to tell everything on Melania. I need y'all to hit the like. I got so much stuff to cover on this. I watched this for hours and hours and hours today to get every update to bring it to y'all.
According to the New York Times, used his leverage as a Trump official to call and get a hold of ICE so that he can get custody of his son. And now he's the person trying to back up Melania Trump's claims about her relationship or lack thereof with Epstein and whether or not Epstein introduced the two of them, or now it was Zampoli. The plot is thickening. Got to continue tracking this down. I won't stop. Spread the word. Follow for more.
We are getting some insights now as to why Melania may have held her press conference yesterday talking about Epstein and denying her close relationship with Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. And boy, guys, this is a doozy. And if this is true, some major shit is going to hit the fan here.
This guy right here, the woman that was deported back to Cuba, she posted this video. It's a 3-part video. My second video got all 3 parts, including this part again. She reposted his video and said she's telling it all. He then did another video saying, save her at all costs. This is how ugly this is going to get, y'all. Believe me when I say this, something's big is about to happen.
Here really soon. Melania was probably just trying to get ahead of it, but here it is. She was best friends for around 20 years with this woman named Amanda Angaro.
Best friends, bingo, there she is, the model right there. I need y'all to hit the like, please, for this. Hit the like. I need y'all to. That's the best friend on the screen. She was friends with this lady for over 20 freaking years. That's the one that was deported so that her boyfriend could keep the child. I don't know if it's a girl or boy, but he then comes to the internet and lie and say he was the one who introduced Donald Trump and Melania. That is a lie. There is recordings of Jeffrey Epstein stating that he'd been friends with Donald Trump for over 10 years. He slept with Melania allegedly a year prior to them meeting. So let's go, Diamond Gang. Let's go.
She was together with Paolo Zampoli. You probably recognize that name. Zampoli currently serves as the U.S. Special Envoy for Global Partnerships, whatever the hell that is. But he's a close friend of Trump's. But here's where it gets juicy. Zampoli is famous for being the founder of ID Models. He ran a modeling.
Thanks, Diamond Gang. I knew y'all had it in y'all. Hit that like. I need 30 more. I love y'all. Thank you. Let's go.
Agency. Starting to sound familiar now. And he famously, supposedly introduced Melania to Trump back in 1998. Now, Zampoli and Angaro had a child together, and they were never married, but they were having a bitter custody battle over this child. And Zampoli notified ICE of her detention for fraud charges, and she was sitting in jail, and he had ICE come in and detain her and deport her back to Brazil. She came here as a Brazilian model and met Zampoli when she was 17 years.
He rotten. She was 17 years old. 17
years old. So now Amanda Angaro is bitter and pissed off and is going scorched earth and is threatening legal action and threatening to reveal everything. Let me repeat what I said earlier. Amanda Angaro was best.
Let me pause it. There she go right there. Best friends. There go that jerk right there. There go that jerk right there on the far left that called ICE. And you know Trump made that shit happen for him.
Friends with Melania Trump for nearly 20 years. And she reportedly still maintains a close relationship with Melania's parents. Amanda is threatening on X to
Bingo. She reposted this man's video. I have nothing left to lose in my life. I will tear down the entire system. Be careful with me, bitch. That's what that says. I'm going to read it again. Diamond Gang, hit the like for your girl. Hit the like for your girl. She said, I have nothing left to lose in my life. I will tear down the entire system. Be careful with me, bitch. When I tell y'all this shit is getting ready to get ugly, it's going to get ugly. She's known that woman for over 20 years and is still have a relationship with Melania's parents and has threatened to tell everything about Jeffrey Epstein. That jerk had her deported. She reposted this man's video today. I can't wait to get to my second video, y'all. Stay in here. I got over 8 in the room. I need y'all to stay in here. Let's go.
Tear down the entire corrupt system and go full scorched earth on Trump and Melania.
That's what.
Grab your popcorn, everyone.
I ain't see that second part. Let me go back to the second part of that email. I mean, that message.
Friends with Melania Trump for nearly 20 years. And she reportedly still maintains a close relationship with Melania's parents. Amanda is threatening on X to tear down the entire corrupt system and go full scorch.
She said, maybe you should be afraid of what I know of you. No, wait. Maybe you should be afraid of what I know of who you are and who your husband is. So she not only threatened Melania, she threatened Donald Trump too. So this shit's getting ready to hit the fan.
Earth on Trump and Melania. Grab your popcorn, everyone. We're in for a ride here.
There's more going on here than simply a woman hurt by unfair and unreasonable accusations.
Is it possible it's about the marriage and what she's beginning to do? And just thought, it's too much. I'm going to be damaged by being alongside this man.
Now I'm going to let y'all hear what everybody else thinks, but I'm sticking to this story right here because I'm going to come back to this story. Let's go.
She's not shy about defending herself. I think to me, the dynamic that is interesting to look at here is that between Donald and Melania. And Donald is his absence. This is a pattern through.
See, people wasn't digging like I was digging. I was digging, and I was on the internet all day. They're thinking that the marriage is over. No. This girlfriend can ready to tell it all.
Throughout his life, when those close to him are in deep trouble or are publicly apologizing for something, he stays clear of that. Is he going to jettison her at this late date? Hard to imagine, at least while he's still in the White House.
What about if she's going to jettison him? Because she...
Listen, Diamond Gang, don't give my mods a hard time. If you're being disrespectful, if you don't like what's going on, just exit. That's it. There's billions of people on YouTube, billions of live streams going on. Don't be disrespectful to nobody in the chat. You could be as free as you want to be over here. You just can't be disrespectful. You could put opposing opinions. If you don't agree with what I'm saying, I'm cool with all of that. Just don't be disrespectful. We are all grown. I'm telling my mods, snipe them on sight. Don't even give them a second chance. Let's go.
If she wanted out of that marriage, she'd have to do it very carefully indeed, wouldn't she?
Well, I think we've learned by now, I think we have plenty of evidence that whatever the ties are between them, and I think some of them are real emotional bonds, and some of them are financial ties and financial dependence, and whatever those are, they've kept her in through far worse than this.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Now listen, y'all, she literally is suing Biden. I mean, I said Biden, Hunter Biden for what? $1 billion, $1 billion lawsuit. And listen to what he say. This is why she's suing him. This lady.
Day of presidential litigation has arrived. It's lawsuit time. In my hand is a legal demand letter addressed to Mr. Hunter Biden.
So she's suing Channel 5 and Hunter Biden. Like, Melania, you need to stop, girl. There's too much evidence.
From the First Lady of the United States, demanding a retraction of Channel 5's video called Hunter Biden Returns, in which Mr. Biden here makes some speculative comments about the relationship between Jeffrey Epstein, Melania Trump, and Donald Trump.
Okay, well, they knew each other well. They spent an enormous time together. According to his biographer, is that Jeffrey Epstein introduced Melania. That's how Melania and the First Lady and the president met.
Really?
Yeah.
Epstein made the intro.
Yeah, according to Michael Wolff.
Yeah.
And that's who I got. I got a video of Michael Wolff. That is the reporter that Donald Trump hates, and he always says that he's trying to ruin his life. Michael Wolff wrote a book, okay? He was cool with Jeffrey Epstein. Michael Wolff. So we're going to look at that video as well. Michael Wolff is the one who brought out that Melania Trump, and I got to say allegedly, slept with Jeffrey Epstein a year prior to introducing Trump to Melania. Let's go, Diamond Gang.
So I only can go by what people are saying, and I don't know.
He didn't make these claims out of nowhere. They come from another journalist named Michael Wolff, who is a biographer that actually spoke to Jeffrey Epstein. But now here we are, and I've got $1 billion.
That came directly out of Jeffrey Epstein's mouth to that reporter. She need to stop. Let them release the full files.
Document in my hands because Mrs. Trump is seeking $1 billion in damages if we don't take the video down, and if Hunter here doesn't issue a formal apology to Mrs. Trump. So now we're here maybe to give you the platform to apologize to the First Lady for your statements that you made about her possible connection to Jeffrey Epstein.
Fuck that. That's not going to happen.
Who else is sticking up for us? What else is being done? Pam Bondi, couldn't even look at us. Todd Blanche is saying, oh, there's no files here. There's nothing to look at, nothing to investigate. Nothing has worked for the last 9 months. This is the first person that I see that.
Now, she is a Jeffrey Epstein survivor, okay? She's giving her grace, okay? She's giving her grace.
Has some real power that's saying, here's a new idea.
Lisa, you were in your early 20s when you first met Jeffrey Epstein, endured years of abuse from him and others in his network. When you saw Melania Trump saying, I'm not a victim of Jeffrey Epstein, how did you feel?
Well, it's obvious if she says she wasn't a victim, maybe she wasn't a victim. I think the point of it was two things for her, was her trying to let the public know that you've got it all wrong about me.
Now, that part, I believe. I have someone else that's speaking that knows Melania. She says she cares about what people say and think about her. I do believe that. Let's go.
Separating myself from my husband, who's the president, look at the facts. And she wasn't deposed for anything. There's nothing legal against her. I just think people need to separate the woman, the wife, from the husband. I think that's really important.
What do you make of her calls for there to be a survivor-centered congressional hearing? Because other survivors of Jeffrey Epstein have said today that they don't want that they feel like she is putting the onus on them to testify and making them a convenient escape route.
I don't really know if that's true or not. And I understand what my survivor sisters are saying. But what I look at is the bigger picture. I would say I call her bluff and be like, okay, show us what you can do. What's next?
Would you like Melania Trump to get in touch with you, to get in touch with other survivors and to find out your feelings and your thoughts about what would be the next step on the road to justice here?
Yeah, wouldn't that be the next step for her? Why would you make a statement like that and then not do anything? I'm just always like an optimist, first of all, but also like, what are you going to do? How can you make a statement like that without first saying, okay, I'm here for you, have the survivors reach out?
Guess what, y'all? Some of the survivors is not okay with Melania at all and what she said. Let's go.
You felt that she was there in support of the survivors, as well as you say, clearing her own name.
That's what she portrayed. Yeah, so I would think if you're going to stand by what you said, take the next step. What can we do to work together if you want to see justice or accountability, and so do all the survivors and American people, what's the next step there?
Nah, she said that, she threw that in there, but it's clearly about what this girlfriend know from 20 years.
Do you have any thoughts on the timing of this statement? Why she chose now when, it's not the number one issue agenda, on the news and in public discourse?
Well, we probably won't find that out for a couple more days or weeks, but I'm sure there's a reason why. I think everyone takes their time. I think everyone has a boiling point. And it makes sense to me why she would.
And the only reason why I brought other clips is because someone may think something different. Someone may go along with what she's saying. I'm believing this story about the woman, her best friend.
I've spoken out earlier, but there's a lot that has happened in the last 9 months.
Well, that was sure
This
weird.
is him.
And she certainly contradicts.
This is Michael Wolff. This is that reporter that spoke to Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein told him, he wrote a book that he slept with Melania a year prior to, and that he introduced Donald Trump. Allegedly.
Much of the evidence, known timeline, and much of what Epstein has directly said about her. So why? Well, we know she's fiercely tried to protect and control the details of her life after she came to New York in the 1990s. She sued the Daily Mail, which suggested that she was an escort, and she has
Y'all hear that? Melania sued the Daily Mail.
Issued almost on an industrial scale, threatening letters to almost anybody who connects her with Epstein, even though we've all seen the pictures connecting her with Epstein. So why now? We know that she's unhappy about my lawsuit against her.
Y'all hear that? So he's suing Melania. Let's go, Diamond Gang. Hit the like. I'm telling you, I was digging for stuff for y'all. I need 3 more likes to get to 200. Let's go.
Probably even more so unhappy with her lawyers who have gotten her into a legal situation that she can't control because I am suing her. The lawsuit is now in front of a federal judge, and we are waiting for a decision on their bid to have the case dismissed, which we don't think has a chance. But is this an effort to influence the judge? It's a Trump judge, by the way, or intimidate the judge? Intimidation is, of course, what my case against her is.
Thanks for the likes, Diamond Gang. Y'all showing up and showing off for your girl. I appreciate you guys, all of you.
About. Actually, she might seem to have a sort of Soviet bloc sense of how the law ought to work. The other thing about her weird statement is that it also seems to be in PR talk, getting out in front of something.
Bingo, getting out in front of something. That friend. Let's go.
So is there a new accusations or a big bombshell on the horizon? And then the other perhaps obvious point might just be that she hates her husband. He's the one who got her into this Epstein mess. He's the one now threatening to damage the Melania brand. She's pissed. And in a way, what she's doing is saying to Congress, and perhaps to a future Democratic Congress on the horizon, investigate the son of a bitch.
Listen, y'all, and I do believe she's saying, well, I think she's getting ahead of the story and she's trying to get away from him because it's coming. Remember, I got another video that I'm going to put on in a minute. I got all 3 parts of that story. I need y'all to stay in here.
What do you think? Because the fact that in that statement, she wasn't just defending herself. She went on to say that the victims should testify before Congress. That flies directly in the face of what her husband, the president of the United States, I mean, he has said over and over, nothing to see here. Move on, move on, move on.
Yeah, exactly. We're getting 2 different messages.
I'm not going to lie. Since she came out, I'm scared for her life.
1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. And the question is, why now and why is she contradicting him? It's fascinating, right? Because he is so eager to get this past him. He is so angry about the fact that this has been, dragging on for so long. For her to come out and just, bring it back up and cause all kinds of questions to be asked is mystifying. Traditionally, if a first lady wants to give a statement on a personal, sensitive matter or something like this, they would often do it with the president, in some fashion or another, maybe a sit-down interview with a evening show or something like that. Rarely.
This is mind-boggling. Out of everybody that I watched, I'm surprised that there's a few that got a hold of this story, but not many.
If not ever, I can't remember a time a first lady gave a press conference on something so important to a president and didn't tell him about it, right? And then he didn't seem to know about it. And that's just baffling in so many ways.
A couple things are important from that speech. I mean, one is it's been interesting how she has essentially put herself into the Epstein story. I mean, look, the survivors are right. They've been demanding justice. They've been demanding Pam Bondi testify. And
she ain't have no choice but to put herself in the Epstein story because that girl says she's going to tell it all on her and Trump.
It's been her own husband that has been the one that's been calling this investigation a hoax. It has been former AG Pam Bondi that has tried to bury this investigation. And just 2 days ago, Todd Blanche, the acting AG, said to the press that essentially the Epstein investigation was over and not a future part of DOJ investigations. And so for the first lady to inject herself this way and to bring this all back.
Diamond Gang, now they're going to be forced to release more files. I guarantee y'all.
I think was a pretty rare moment that we're seeing in this administration. She is distancing herself in some ways from the positions of her husband. But at the same time, where has she been this entire time? Where has her calls for hearings been over the last few months? Why not call for the release of the entire files? 50% of them have not been released to the public. And so I think we're all kind of waiting and seeing what's the next step here. What's going to happen next? Is this anticipating something else? We're all waiting to see.
I was actually on a call with the survivors just moments after she gave that statement. And one of the survivors said that they felt personally offended by her statement because
I told y'all, they're not happy. Some of them are not happy at all.
They felt like it was essentially saying that it was on the survivors to come give public testimony, and it's on them to tell their stories again to the American people. And the entire point of this case is that there's been a miscarriage of justice. For decades, the U.S. Department of Justice has failed to investigate and to prosecute these cases. We've called for public hearings hundreds of times. We've asked for Comer to bring the Attorney General in front of the committee. He has yet to produce former AG Pam Bondi, who's now trying to get out of it. Mm-hmm. We want to hear from Todd Blanche. We want to hear from anyone who's been involved in covering up this case. I think that what this
Pam Bondi picked a side, and she's going to stay on Trump's side. She's not doing it, and they said that she don't have to because she is no longer the DA.
Survivors are trying to say here is we gave sworn statements. We talked to the FBI. We lived our trauma to see these individuals prosecuted who committed crimes against us. And so they want to see prosecutions. They want to see the Epstein files turned into Epstein files. And while we appreciate that the First Lady is weighing in and asking for public hearings, absolutely, we need public hearings. But the people that we need in front of the committee, if the survivors would like to testify publicly, absolutely, we want to hear their stories. But many of them don't want to testify publicly. They've already told their stories to law enforcement. Mm-hmm. We want to hear from the law.
Some of them already received money for it. Some of them have NDAs. This is crazy.
Enforcement who have yet to prosecute these cases.
Protect Amanda Angaro. She has First Lady Melania Trump running scared, and it appears that she might be the reason Melania came out with her press conference out of nowhere yesterday. Now, Melania has done this. All those replies that...
Bingo. Look at that. Didn't I tell y'all? I told y'all. I have nothing left to lose in my life. I will tear down the entire system. Be careful with me. I will tear down you. His big head is in the way. God darn it. All right, let's go.
Amanda made to the FLOTUS 45 Melania Trump's account have been deleted. All of them gone. Now, we don't know if Amanda deleted them or if the FLOTUS account did, but you can take a guess. The internet is forever, and I've got them, and so do many others. But
bingo. She reposted his video. They deleted her messages, saying that she was going to tell everything and tear it up and tell about Trump and all of that. This is insane, y'all. Let's go.
But are we witnessing another major cover-up? This brings more context into what Melania Trump said yesterday, and Amanda's ex and baby daddy, Paolo Zampalli, went on the Daily Mail and said that he is willing to testify before Congress, something the First Lady also said she would do and wants others to do. Now, Zampalli said he's willing to bring 50 other witnesses that were present at a party he hosted back in 1998 at the Kit Kat Club, where he says that he introduced Melania Trump to Donald Trump.
You hear that shit, y'all? Oh, God.
So he says he can prove that with all these witnesses. But this begs the question, what does Amanda have? What are they afraid of her releasing? What does she have on all of them that they are so worried about? That has to be so bombshell that Melania Trump held an impromptu press conference without even notifying the president. This is major, guys. We'll see what happens here. Be sure to check back for updates, and I'll see you back here for the 411.
Why now? People are questioning the timing of this.
Well, first.
Now, listen, y'all. This is Melania's, I think, PR person, but let's go.
Enough is enough. This has been ongoing, and it's time for the public to refocus their attention on what achievements our First Lady has done. She's helping people over and over again. Americans are benefiting from her efforts. People in the foster care community, people from an educational perspective.
He doing damage control. Stop it.
Her achievements have been so wide. You've covered them here, whether it's international with the Ukrainian and Russian reunifications and beyond. And we want to focus the attention on her good work and what she's accomplished.
Listen, Diamond Gang, they've been talking about her for almost a year in these Epstein files. You picked today to say, stop talking about me? Stop it. She's scared of that girl. She's scared of that woman.
Accomplished as First Lady of the United States.
Maybe the First Lady can just saunter over across the hallway in the residence and ask her own husband to release the remaining Epstein files. That would be far more powerful than her performance this morning. Melania's name does appear in at least one FBI interview with an unidentified witness, a witness who told the agents that, quote, Epstein introduced Melania Trump to Donald Trump. Of course, we don't know if or how that witness would know that, but it would appear to contradict what Melania and her former modeling agent have been saying about how she and Trump met for years.
So she's in the Epstein files multiple times. There's an interview where Epstein actually says it. Like, come on, man. And this woman is about to tell on her.
So the First Lady talked a lot about herself. And in her own la-la land, she also tried to present herself, the spouse of the man withholding the Epstein files, as some sort of a defender of survivors.
Now is the time for Congress to act. Epstein.
She about to get Trump caught up in some major shit. This is crazy. She trying to get away.
Was not alone. I call on Congress to provide the women who have been victimized by Epstein with a public hearing specifically centered around the survivors. Give these victims their opportunity to testify under oath in front of Congress with the power of sworn testimony.
First of all, I don't know if she's been living under a rock, but Democrats have tried to hold hearings. They have brought survivors to Congress to speak and tell their stories at high-profile events. But there have been no hearings because Republicans have not let that happen. There's no way Melania's own husband has wanted them to happen either. After all, his Justice Department spent months defying a congressional subpoena for the Epstein files. So given all of that, it's not surprising that Melania Trump's bizarre, self-involved public statement also did not sit well with survivors. I mean, in response to the First Lady's remarks, a group of 15 survivors and family members of victims said in a statement, First Lady Melania Trump is now shifting the burden onto survivors under politicized conditions that protect those with power. The statement calls out the Justice Department, law enforcement, prosecutors, and the Trump administration, which is still not.
I feel so bad for the survivors. This is horrible. I think every time something like this happens, they're re-traumatized.
Fully complied with the Epstein Files Transparency Act. And they add that it also diverts attention from Pam Bondi, who must answer for withheld files and the exposure of survivors' identities. And they issued a call to action saying survivors have done their part. Now it's time for those in power to do theirs.
Then, and only then, we will have the truth.
So will there be hearings?
Yeah, I've always
Now, Comer said, yeah, there'll be hearings. Let's see.
planned on having hearings with the victims. My attorneys on the Oversight Committee have been communicating on a constant basis for months with the attorneys representing Epstein victims. There are some victims who are willing to come in. Most victims aren't, and I completely understand that. But we have always planned on having a hearing with Epstein victims once the depositions have been completed. So we've still got some more high-profile men that are coming in. Then I agree with the First Lady and appreciate what she said. We will have hearings.
Chairman Comer, I appreciate.
All right, let me bring up this second video. He full of it. He full of it. Let's go, y'all. Bring up this second video. We're going to get right into it.
You know, talking to people that work with her, from housekeepers to assistants, they said that she spends a huge amount of time looking at what's written about her.
Did y'all hear that? She spends a huge amount of time looking at what's written about her. So this has been known and people have been writing about her for months, and she picks now to say something.
Her son and her husband. if you're doing that in the last year, you have really seen all the accusations that she was very tied up with Jeffrey Epstein. She clearly had, I think that she has been looking online day after day and just kind of came out and said, now's my time.
All right. Now, Diamond Gang, I'm going to replay this guy right here in 3 parts and how he brought the story to light. So we're going to see 2 of the same clips again, but let's go.
Getting some insights now as to why Melania may have held her press conference yesterday talking about Epstein and denying her close relationship with Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. And boy, guys, this is a doozy. And if this is true, some major shit is going to hit the fan here really soon. Melania was probably just trying to get ahead of it. But here it is. She was best friends for around 20 years with this woman named Amanda Angaro. She was together with Paolo Zampolli. You probably recognize that name. Zampolli currently...
Now remember, gang, he went on some type of talk show, and I got his phone conversation where he lies and says that he introduced him. I'm saying allegedly. I believe he's lying.
He serves as the U.S. Special Envoy for Global Partnerships, whatever the hell that is. But he's a close friend of Trump's. But here's where it gets juicy. Zampolli is famous for being the founder of ID Models. He ran a modeling agency. Starting to sound familiar now? And he famously, supposedly introduced Melania to Trump back in 1998. Now, Zampolli and Angaro had a child together, and they were never married, but they were having a bitter custody battle over this child. And Zampolli notified ICE of her detention for fraud charges, and she was sitting in jail, and he had ICE come in and detain her and deport her back to Brazil. She came here as a Brazilian model and met Zampolli when she was 17 years old. So now Amanda Angaro is bitter and pissed off and is going scorched earth and is threatening legal action and threatening to reveal everything. Let me repeat what I said earlier. Amanda Angaro was...
I'm going to stop it again. There she go, right there. And there go that jerk. That's wild how, maybe they may have just put the pictures together. But that's her on the far right next to Donald, my right. And then that jerk that called ICE on her on the left. Ugh.
Best friends with Melania Trump for nearly 20 years. And she reportedly still maintains a close relationship with Melania's parents. Amanda is threatening on X to tear down the entire corrupt system and go full scorched earth on Trump and Melania.
Who do y'all think deleted those emails? Do y'all believe Trump and them got it deleted? I do. I don't think she deleted those emails because she reposted his video. But let's go.
Grab your popcorn, everyone. We're in for a ride here. Protect Amanda Angaro. She has First Lady Melania Trump running scared, and it appears that she might be the reason Melania came out with her press conference out of nowhere yesterday. Now, Melania has done this. All those replies that Amanda made to the FLOTUS 45 Melania Trump's account have been deleted. All of them gone. Now, we don't know if Amanda deleted them or if the FLOTUS account did, but you can take a guess. The internet is forever, and I've got them, and so do many others. But are we witnessing another major cover-up? This brings more context into what Melania Trump said yesterday, and Amanda's ex and baby daddy, Paolo Zampolli, went on.
Now, so far, because I got a couple other perspectives, who believes this is it? If you believe this is it, put a 1 in the chat. This is it, y'all. Now I'm going to be back on the Epstein kick. Oh, boy. Put a 1 in the chat. If you don't believe this is the reason why she did her little press conference, put a 2 in the chat. I'm saying 1, I believe.
The Daily Mail and said that he is willing to testify before Congress, something the First Lady also said she would do and wants others to do. Now, Zampolli said he's willing to bring 50 other witnesses that were present at a party he hosted back in 1998 at the Kit Kat Club.
I got a lot of 1s. Yep, I believe this story. You said 1 and 2. I believe this, y'all. I can't help it. I'm going to be following this. Now I'm going to be so addicted to what's going on.
where he says that he introduced Melania Trump to Donald Trump. So he says he can prove that with all these witnesses. But this begs the question, what does Amanda have? What are they afraid of her releasing? What does she have on all of them that they are so worried about? That has to be so bombshell that Melania Trump held an impromptu press conference without even notifying the president. This is major, guys. We'll see what happens here. Be sure to check back for updates, and I'll see you back here for the 411. This just happened. Until moments ago, Amanda Angaro had no posts on her X account, just her replies to Melania Trump.
So she came back, y'all. Hit the like. She came back. He said this was moments ago. She had no post. She came back, and that's when she reposted his video. Let's get it, y'all. Let's get it.
Her first post was my video talking about her replies to Melania Trump and how Melania Trump's press conference was likely to do with what she knows and what she might be about to release. And it seems we might be onto something here, folks. What I have found is that Amanda Angaro has been working with Anthony Andrews and using this X account to post her story, what she knows.
There it go. If y'all want to see for yourself, the woman that says she's going to tell on Melania Trump has been working with this X account. It's probably shut down by now. Anthony Andrews. If you have X and you just want to be nosy, here it is. She is posting her stories about Melania Trump. Okay, let's get it, y'all.
Some of her evidence with some of the most bombshell stuff likely yet to come. But she paints a picture of how Paolo Zampalli is involved with Melania, Epstein, Trump, all of it, and how it's all intertwined within our government right now. Everything in here needs to be investigated, and I hope some members of Congress are seeing this and will start looking into this, because this needs to be looked into.
I didn't have time to go over there, but guess what? When I get off this live stream, I'm taking my ass over there, and I'm going to look this up because I want to see.
And perhaps this sheds some light on why the remaining 3 million plus Epstein files still have not been released.
And I'm going to screenshot them and I'm going to bring them over to you guys. Now, this is Michael Wolff. He's going to expose the relationship with Melania Trump and with Jeffrey Epstein. This is where he says that Melania slept with Epstein. Let's go.
New book was published yesterday in the US and UK entitled The Rise and Fall of the House of York. It's by a British journalist by the name of Andrew Loney. And it's about the pathetic life of Prince Andrew, but it is also about his connection to Donald Trump, Jeffrey Epstein, and Melania Trump.
Trump hates this reporter. He hates him. When the Epstein files first came out and came to light, he was very vocal, okay?
And in fact, it contains a passage in which Epstein is quoted, and this is from an interview apparently in 2007, where he says that he had sex with Melania a full year before Donald Trump commenced his relationship.
I need y'all to hit the like. He's suing Melania right now. I need y'all to hit the like. When I say I was digging for y'all, I was digging and watching everything. I'm going to play that back again. Did y'all hear what he just said? In an interview, Epstein said he slept with Melania. She said she had nothing to do with this man. Why is she lying? Let's get it, y'all.
Epstein is quoted, and this is from an interview apparently in 2007, where he says that he had sex with Melania a full year before Donald Trump commenced his relationship with Melania. Now, the hardcover copy of the book was widely available yesterday, and it contains that passage. But the ebook and the audio book, which were also released yesterday, do not contain that passage. So what happened here is that between the the printing and the distribution of the book and its release.
Melania started coming for him. Let's go, Diamond Gang. Hit the like. Let's go. They is wild, man.
Is that Melania Trump started to send threatening legal letters to anyone who might connect her directly to Jeffrey Epstein. So the publishers.
Here's the thing. They got the interview. Jeffrey Epstein said it out of his own freaking mouth. Let's go. This is wild.
I mean, and this is hard to figure out exactly what they believe they have accomplished here. But clearly, they published the book and clearly had it vetted by lawyers and decided it was legally sound. But then, in the face of Melania Trump's threats, they ran and hide. I mean, it's kind of ostrich-like to think that they could put the book out and that the book can, the printed book can contain one thing and the other versions another, but that's not the point. The point is just panic. So we're at this moment in time when this information about Epstein and Trump and the Trumps is coming out, and yet at the same time, the White House is doing everything to stop it from coming out. And this is certainly.
Do y'all see how many times she contradicted her story?
An example.
In fact, the person who is credited with introducing Melania and Trump is not Epstein.
Now here he is, Paulo. Here he is, the guy that claims that he introduced them. So he's literally, I believe, lying for them. Let's go.
It's a guy called Paolo Zampoli, who is now, in fact, a member of Trump's administration. Hang on. No, he's trying to call me now. Okay, I'm live on the podcast. Hi, Paolo. How are you? I'm actually in the middle of recording our podcast.
Let's do it. Come on.
Tell me, first of all, what your reaction was when you saw the First Lady's statement.
The First Lady stands out for the people. And of course,
Diamond Gang, this is the dude that called ICE on his girlfriend. The girlfriend of 20-year friendship with Melania. Let's go.
It's nothing to do with this, whatever criminal like this. I'm ready to testify in front of Congress if I'm asked and say the truth, because this is totally nonsense.
So you're willing to testify in front of Congress to prove that you were the person that introduced Melania to Donald Trump?
As an American citizen, I'm here to say the truth without any problem.
On MS Now Friday, former Palm Beach County State Attorney Dave Ehrenberg.
So let's see if he comes in and testify. Let's go.
Weighed in on Melania Trump's surprise address about her relationship with convicted abuser Jeffrey Epstein. Journalist Michael Wolff could tie Melania Trump directly to Jeffrey Epstein, according to Ehrenberg. And Michael Wolff, apparently, according to the Daily Beast, who she name-checked in the press conference, has these recordings, and the recordings have Jeffrey Epstein's voice on them, saying that the first time that Melania and Donald Trump had sex was on Jeffrey Epstein's plane, says Ehrenberg. I think this press conference was a way.
That is Michael Wolff, the guy that was just talking about the book and Melania and the lawsuits, him. That's who they're referring to.
To get ahead of it. I think it's less about the social circles as about those recordings that she worries will come out, Ehrenberg added. Read more at rawstory.com.
So those recordings will probably come out and they're going to resurface. Like, why would you, like, everything she said was a contradiction. I got 1K in the building. Hit the like, y'all. Hit the like.
Are you surprised that it happened now and not earlier on in this process?
No. Melania Trump thinks about everything she does, and she thinks about it for a very long time, and she does things very strategically. And she knew full well that walking out there into the White House residence behind that podium like that would make absolute waves. And so she chose this time. Again, I don't know why. Perhaps, again, it's a story, or she just got an inquiry, or she saw something obscure that nobody else did see, and it it just made her upset. But she chose this very specifically, and she definitely thought on it for a few days. And I'm going to say I call BS on our president saying he knew nothing about it, because at the very least, I imagine she would have given him a heads up if she had sent an advisory out yesterday.
Is there anything he could do if she gave a heads up and he didn't want it to happen?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. She is, I mean, I'm going to feel like I'm going back to my talking points from when I was her comms director and her chief of staff, but it's the truth. She's a very strong, very independent woman. And when she feels that she needs to do something and she feels very strongly and that it's the right thing to do, she will do it no matter.
Nah, I don't think that's the reason why she did it. The reason why she did that is because she wants to distance herself before this bomb drop.
What anybody says, be it her husband, be it her advisors, it doesn't matter.
Dear G, how are you? Nice story about J.E. Sounds like Jeffrey Epstein in New York Mag. You look great on the picture. I know you are very busy flying all over the world. How was Palm Beach? I cannot wait to go down. Give me a call when you are back in New York. Have a great time. Love, Melania.
Does that sound casual to y'all? Because that's what she's claiming. You don't email a stranger that way. You don't. Let's read that email one more time. One more time.
Dear G, how are you? Nice story about J.E. Sounds like Jeffrey Epstein in New York Mag. You look great on the picture. I know you are very busy flying all over the world. How was Palm Beach? I cannot wait to go down. Give me a call when you are back in New York. Have a great time. Love, Melania. Vicky, why do you think the First Lady came forward today?
I'm a little bewildered about the timing of this. She references.
I'm just surprised there's not more people running with that story. I'm just shocked.
Bots and stuff out there online. I haven't seen any of that. You know, I would agree with.
I need 39 more likes to get me to 300 likes. Please, gang.
With James, there's nothing that I've seen in the Epstein files other than that email that is particularly troubling about Melania Trump. So it does feel to me more like a PR move.
It's not a PR move, but I brought other people's perspectives.
A changing of the narrative, which, as we know, Donald Trump is very, very good at. On the other hand, she does seem, she seems uncharacteristically emotional in that announcement.
She's scared that woman is going to talk and tell everything.
There have been questions about the overlapping circles between, Melania Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, because she was a model. She definitely ran in the same
And that Paulo guy had a modeling agency.
Circle as a guy who's now in the Trump administration, Paolo Zampoli. I think she was a model represented by his agency. He was somebody who dealt with Jeffrey Epstein. So there are concentric circles here. There have been questions raised. So, I think she's right to have addressed them. But the question is about the timing. Why now? And I don't.
Again, we know why, because the woman says she's going to tell everything that happened. This is insane.
I don't have a good answer for that, I'm afraid.
Melania Trump just made a statement that directly contradicts Todd Blanche, who claimed there's nothing to look into and no one else is involved.
I call on Congress to provide.
Again, this is an Epstein survivor, a Jeffrey Epstein survivor.
The women who have been victimized by Epstein with a public hearing specifically centered around the survivors.
So why would she speak now? Maybe she's had enough. Enough of being tied to Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell by association. I get it. Enough of the assumptions, the memes, enough of the guilt by proximity narrative. I get that. But let's be real about Melania. There are no victim statements naming her, no flight logs placing her there. There's no depositions she was called in for. There has been no credible evidence. And pictures at parties, that's not proof of anything. I know everybody likes to toss those around, but if you've actually seen the files,
But we have a whole interview with Jeffrey Epstein admitting that he slept with her a year prior to Trump. We have a whole interview. It came directly out of the horse's mouth, the source. What?
It's not hard to identify who was really deeply involved. So instead of dismissing her statement as a stunt or deflection, let's call it what it could be, an opportunity. You said survivors can testify.
Give these victims their opportunity to testify.
You said their voice can be entered in the congressional record.
And then her testimony should be permanently entered into the congressional record.
Good. Let's do that. But let's do it right. Nothing performative, no public spectacle. We're done with all that. How about private testimony, where survivors are protected, where their truth isn't filtered through their fear, because most have fear or NDAs. This is where statements can be compared directly to the files. Then we'll know. Then we'll see if there's really nothing to look into, like Todd said, because this has never been about politics. It's about the truth. Melania wants us to know the truth about her. We want the truth about us too. It's still about accountability, and it's about finally getting it right for survivors. What can you do?
I agree with her.
Do to help Melania?
Something unusual happened at the White House this week. A member of the president's own family stepped to a podium and addressed the Epstein scandal. That person, of course, was First Lady.
Now, Diamond Gang, after this clip, I'm going to go, specifically back into the war. I started with the war. I'm going to end with the war, and then I'll close out and take comments.
Melania Trump. She said three things. One, she was never friends with Jeffrey Epstein. Two, she was never a victim. And three, Epstein did not introduce her to Donald Trump. And then she called on Congress to hold public hearings where Epstein survivors would testify under oath. Well, that immediately triggered a backlash. One of Epstein's accusers, Annie Farmer, she said the survivors were caught off guard. A group of survivors.
And if you guys can recall, Annie Farmer and her sister were the first ones to go to the FBI on Jeffrey Epstein.
They released a statement saying, calling for more survivor testimony shifts the burden back onto the victims instead of focusing on accountability from people in power. Do you remember the person who was in charge of releasing the file, former Attorney General Pam Bondi? Well, she was subpoenaed, supposed to testify April 14th, but she was fired, you might remember, on April 2nd, and the Justice Department now argues that subpoena does not apply. Lawmakers say that's not how subpoenas work, and contempt proceedings are now being discussed. Now, meanwhile, there are more.
She said she wasn't showing up, so it will be a contempt.
Witnesses coming. Bill Gates, he's scheduled to testify in June, and our current Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick, who has acknowledged.
I will be covering both of their depositions. I'm letting y'all know. Subscribe to the channel.
Traveling to Epstein's Island years ago, is scheduled to testify on May 6th. And that highlights something striking here. All around the world, in many countries, people who have had Epstein connections have had their careers ended. They've retired. They have had to quit. In Britain, Prince Andrew was even arrested this year in an investigation tied to Epstein. But here in the United States, only a handful of people have been negatively impacted due to their relationship with Epstein. Which brings us back to the question of the day. Why did Melania Trump suddenly decide to step into the middle of the Epstein story? What do you think is going on?
So something Trump tried to hide from, he is now going to have to face. And I believe that.
Comment below, share this video, and follow me. I'm Sue O'Connell. I'm a political commentator for NBC10Boston.com.
She definitely is in the files and not just referred to. There is an exchange that people had honed in on very early on and the revelation of the Epstein files that seemed to be from Melania Trump. But because the email address itself was redacted, no one could confirm that Melania was the sender. Yesterday, through her comments, Anna, she seems to be confirming that's an authentic.
You see what she did? She confirmed that email was her.
Authentic email communication from her to Ghislaine Maxwell asking, when are you going to be back in New York? Signing it, love Melania. And then Ghislaine Maxwell writes back, sweet pea, and says that her plans to come back to New York have been delayed, and so they won't be able to get together. Certainly a little bit more than the very polite reply that Mrs. Trump tried to characterize her correspondence with Ghislaine Maxwell.
Walking contradiction. She got herself so caught up. What she did was not a good idea.
as at the very least, these are two people who had a friendly social relationship with one another. Mrs. Trump acknowledged yesterday that they were in the same social circles in New York and Palm Beach.
Yeah. And as someone who knows firsthand, Sarah, how the White House press shop works, is it reasonable to think that the president did or did not have a heads up that was going to happen?
If I was a betting woman, I would put money on the fact that the president did not have a heads up, and neither did the White House press team. I think that Melania Trump is someone.
This caused the crash out, and I got Candace Owens' reaction, which we'll play next.
Who just does what she wants to do, and it's Melania's world. And so I think that she went out there and she was thinking, everyone's talking about this story. It's like when something embarrassing happens to you and you think, oh, everyone's thinking about it, everyone's talking about it, and then you acknowledge it, and everyone's like, actually, no one was thinking about it until you just said it. I think that's what happened here. I think that in her mind, she wanted to address this because she thought it was this big story, even though she wasn't really largely attached to the conversation surrounding Trump with the Epstein files. And so she wanted.
Again, that is not the reason. I brought other people's perspectives because someone in the audience may feel different than what I've shown you guys.
To go out there and try to clear her name. But what I thought was most notable was that she made no attempt to defend her husband at all during that press conference. But I do think
she did say that they had overlapped in circles, trying to intimate that the presence near Epstein would have been coincidental.
Yes. But I do think that it wasn't this big defense of him. And it seemed like more solely focused on clearing her own name. And I think that kind of also shows that maybe, she didn't give her husband a heads up there, because I'm sure he would have wanted her to defend him more forcefully in the press conference.
Or say nothing at all, as he's been trying.
Point Sarah just made. If the first lady is trying to preemptively diffuse a journalistic bomb that's coming on the Epstein files, I know a lot of good PR practitioners who would say you don't diffuse a bomb by calling attention to the bomb that's about to come and land on you.
Boom. And it's about to land. Well, not friend. I can't wait to get to that email address on X.
It seems like you can't put together a coherent thought. Let me tell you something, and this is just reality, okay? Going back to just the rules of the jungle. Okay, let all the politicians and advisors around you evaporate for just a moment. Just you and me, ready? People will not fight beside, behind, or for someone who is fundamentally disloyal, okay? If disloyalty and deceit is in your nature, then I highly suggest that you combine it with silence. You can be what you are, but I would advise you do it quietly, Trump, because MAGA is no longer commanded by you, and you know it. You know it. You belong to the Epstein class. That is your legacy now. People will see your name on.
I'm sorry, gang, but that's what I feel. This is going to be his legacy because it's coming right back. You started that war for this to come right back.
Buildings, whatever was agreed upon in those boardrooms, Jared Kushner, Trump, Gaza, hotel, whatever you tweeted, so crass, they will see that. You will earn that. And then when they see it, they will think about how many children had to die or be raped by men on islands so that you could stick the Trump name upon a building. And for clarity, Mr. President, that's not my fault. That's not Megyn Kelly's fault. That's not Tucker Carlson's fault. You made that trade. You chose money above respect. And what an absolute shame that you chose to do that toward the end of your life. Okay, because you can't take money and things and stuff with you when you go, just your soul. And you sold yours for what? Another gilded ballroom?
Breaking news, the walls are finally closing in on Trump.
Baby, it's closing in big time. Let's go, y'all. Let's go. Hit the like. Get me to 300 likes. I need what, 11? Wait. Yeah. Wait, let me push it up. I need 19
is
more.
Losing his mind and in the process, losing his base. The last 24 hours have been insane. From Trump attacking leading conservatives to Congress formally requesting a cognitive exam and Melania giving an address to the nation unbeknownst to Trump ahead of time. Here's everything you need to know. So first and foremost, right now, Donald Trump is attacking MAGA more than Democrats. After Donald Trump threatened genocide in Iran, many of MAGA's top ideologues and influencers disavowed Donald Trump and criticized his statements. People like Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Alex Jones, MTG.
He did this because of what Melania did. He attacked them. He crashed out yesterday heavily.
They all criticized Donald Trump's statements. And because of that, Donald Trump has been crucifying them on Truth Social. I mean, it's been ugly. He's been making incredibly demeaning, rude, and vicious remarks about them. A lot of Trump supporters across the internet have either been criticizing him or fully revoking their support from Trump because instead of focusing on the real issues, he's attacking their favorite influencers.
You said Candace would know? I agree.
They're finally starting to wake up to the fact that he's a childish bully.
She's not one of my faves either.
Okay, now here's a second thing that's happened. Leading health experts are now warning that Donald Trump is exhibiting signs consistent with dementia and cognitive decline due to the increasingly incoherent and deranged public statements he's been making. And because of this, Congress has now formally requested that a cognitive exam be given to Trump. Specifically, they're requesting that his
which we went through this at the beginning of the live stream. It's not going to happen. But I feel like if you have nothing to hide and you're perfectly healthy, go take the test.
Doctor perform a comprehensive cognitive exam on him, and then to turn around, publicly release it, and then publicly testify under oath in front of Congress about his personal assessment. Now, here's a third thing that has happened in the last 24 hours, and this is crazy. This is bound to be a developing story that we cover more on this channel. Melania Trump, out of nowhere, gave a public address to the nation about Epstein, stating that she never...
I love y'all, Diamond Gang. Thank you so much. I'm 5 likes away from 300 likes. 5 likes. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Knew of his crimes. He didn't introduce her to Trump, and calling for Congress to allow Epstein survivors to testify under oath publicly in front of them. And we're now learning, according to MS Now, that Donald Trump didn't even know about this until it happened. And ever since, he's been furious.
You said there's no way people actually listen to this kid, this young guy. He know what he's talking about. I think. He just reviewed everything that went down today.
And since her address to the nation, the Daily Beast has now released never-seen-before clips of Epstein
I can't wait to get to y'all comments. That's my favorite part. Melania Trump has Trump deranged syndrome. I can't wait to get to the comments. I love comments.
Bragging about a much closer relationship with Trump and Melania than they've led us on to believe. But anyways, that's it for now. Make sure to follow to stay up to date with the news.
In fact, it looks like the Iranian Revolutionary Guard is in control now, which is far more radical. And the fatwa that had allegedly been issued by the Ayatollah on developing nukes is gone. Iran is more powerful economically. It controls the strait and now is demanding the lifting of all sanctions against it. And what Trump did with that 10-point plan was go from Monday saying, no, not good, to Tuesday saying, very workable. We can do it.
Listen, he put the Iranians in a nice position.
As a means of saving face to bail off of his insane threats about annihilating entire...
Diamond Gang, I'm taking it back to the beginning. For those of you guys that were in here since I started, I'm taking it back where we started.
Civilization. So I don't know how we got here, Piers. I'd like to know just as much as anybody else, but all I can think in my head, based on what I've read in the paper, is we got here thanks to Bibi Netanyahu, Lindsey Graham, and Mark Levin. And ultimately President Trump. That's not to take agency away from the president.
I'm going to tell y'all right now, it's not going down. Israel is going to ruin it for us.
Who was bamboozled. I don't know why. He was too weak to say no. He was too gullible to see through the lies. One way or another, he allowed himself to be pushed into this insane conflict.
What happened to the ceasefire? Well,
let's go. We're going to talk about the ceasefire and what Bibi has done.
Hours of the president announcing this, Israel decided to bomb civilians in Beirut, Lebanon. That's not anti-Israeli hyperbole. That's not blood libel. That is measurably true because there's video of it. Beirut is also, by the way, the capital of the only country.
They hit 100 targets in 10 minutes, Diamond Gang.
In the Middle East, whose president is a Christian. Hezbollah has for many years been active in the southern parts of the country on the border of northern Israel. But Beirut is a separate question. Beirut is a Mediterranean city that is not controlled by Hezbollah. In fact, it's filled with Christians.
I'm just saying, Bibi.
Israel attacked and killed an 81-year-old diplomat while he was in the...
Listen, in the middle of negotiations. I'm telling you. He's trying to start a civil war, and he will do anything to not have peace. Let's go.
Middle of negotiating a peace agreement with the United States. The attack on Kamal Kharazi happened while he was at home, killing him and his wife, as well as injuring many of his neighbors. Now, the deliberate killing of an elderly diplomat and his wife, precisely because he was working on a peace effort, is one of the greatest crimes imaginable. It is literally a crime.
He unallowed this man because this man was working on a peace agreement with the U.S. Did y'all hear that?
In both modern international law as well as humanitarian customs that stretch thousands of years, where the killing of peace negotiators is a grave violation of customs, honor, and even religious law. This is the third time Israel has attacked and killed peace negotiators in the past few years. During the genocide in Gaza, Israel killed Hamas negotiators every chance they got, including an attack on Qatar while the US was trying to negotiate a peace deal. At the time of the strike, Kharazi was reportedly working with the Pakistanis to arrange a direct meeting between Iranian officials and Vice President J.D. Vance. He was a central figure in a diplomatic channel that is trying to save the world from a civilizational and economic catastrophe that the US is.
Trump got to cut ties from this man. This is the, I'm going to say this, whatever he has over his head, he might as well go ahead and let it go and be free, because it's getting ready to be told. The Epstein files are back.
Israeli attacks on Iran are plunging us towards.
Yes, he wanted us to strike. He came to President Obama. He made a presentation to.
This is about Bibi. I want y'all to listen, because Trump was dumb enough to do it. I want y'all to listen, please.
Economic catastrophe that the US-Israeli attacks on Iran are plunging us towards.
Yes, he wanted us to strike. He came to President Obama. He made a presentation to ask to strike. President Obama refused. President Biden refused. President Bush refused. The only president who has agreed to this, obviously, is President Trump.
Did y'all hear that? So Bibi tried to convince those three presidents to attack. Okay, and they all said no, except for who? Trump.
You've probably sat across the table from Prime Minister Netanyahu more than almost anyone else out there. And he and Israel are, of course, big factors here. There's been recent reporting, you probably saw in the New York Times, that Netanyahu was taken into the situation where he basically pitched Trump on attacking Iran. Were you ever a part of any conversations like that? I know he's made that pitches to past administrations. Were you ever a part of that? And were you surprised that he was able to convince Trump to do this?
Well, I was part of any number of conversations with Prime Minister Netanyahu.
But of him pitching the U.S. to strike Iran.
Yes, he wanted us to strike. He came to President Obama. He made a presentation to ask to strike. President Obama refused. President Biden refused. President Bush refused. The only president who has agreed to this, obviously, is President Trump. And it's really interesting. I read that article. It was a very good one. I mean, it seemed like good reporting. And they said that he went around the room and asked everybody their opinions, obviously. Prime Minister Netanyahu made a basically 4-point pitch saying that, they could kill the leadership. They could incite a change of regime, et cetera. They would destroy.
So he pitched Trump these ideas. He told him, yeah, we could do a regime change. We're going to go in. He made it look like it was a cakewalk. This is what Bibi does.
Military, et cetera.
You did listen to what I said, right? I laid out the objectives. We believe we've accomplished them, and it's a historic military victory. He was a president of peace, and he's been willing to make those really tough calls that the American people elected him to do. Not a single thing we've done has put an American troop in more of a harm.
Which is a lie. I showed you guys yesterday that soldier whose identity was concealed and said that they put them in direct harm's way.
We've only set our troops up to harm Iranian military capabilities, which they've done to devastating fashion and to great success.
The Secretary of Defense is not connected to reality. He somehow is ignoring the fact that we had Americans die and we had over 300 wounded. How does he say those words to those family members that we've done nothing to put
which we tried to lie about that, about how many was wounded.
People in harm's way. And the idea that our president is a peace president, he has started more wars than any other president during our lifetime. This is shocking, and this is abysmal. And victory, what victory? Yes, we've diminished the ability of the Iranians to attack their neighbors. Key phrase, diminished. But we have lost so much more. We expended 2 years of Tomahawk missile production in less than 30 days. I estimate that we've lost between...
And remember, he's asking for billions to restock.
in 1/4 to 1/3 of all of our Tomahawk missiles against an enemy that I'm not sure what the reason was for attacking them. It is my blunt opinion that the Secretary of Defense is a clear and present danger to the United States. It used to be that you could trust the United States and the leadership of the United States to do the right thing for all peoples. Yes, America first and the world together. That is not any longer the case. This seems to be the president himself by himself and with his cronies and his fellow billionaires, not for the average American, not for the people who are paying an extra $1 or $2 per gallon war tax every single day at the pump.
Now, this was Trump speaking right before J.D. Vance and them got over there or whatever. He was wishing them luck. This will be my last clip. I'm ending it with him. I started this live stream with this, and I'm ending it with this.
Well, I wish him luck. He's got a big thing. We'll find out what's going on. They're militarily defeated, and now we're going to open up the Gulf with or without him.
You hear that? With or without him, get ready. This is not going to happen, y'all. I'm just preparing you guys.
That'll be open. We're going to be, or the Strait as they call it, and I think it's going to go pretty quickly. And if it doesn't, we'll be able to finish it off one way or the other. It's going well. The Navy's gone. The Air Force is gone. All
Diamond Gang, he said that. He said that. And I showed you guys a week and a half ago, that they are still military-wise at 50%. So they still have things that they can use.
The aircraft is gone. The leaders are gone. The whole place is gone. So
their leaders is not gone, all of them, and the regime is even more hardline.
we'll see how it turns out. So it's JD and Steve and Jared. You have a good team, and they meet tomorrow. We'll see how it all works out.
You're not going to let them hold the strait, are you? I mean, it's international.
No, we're not going to let that. It's international water. If they're doing that, nobody knows if they're doing that. But if they're doing that, we're not going to let that happen.
What would a good deal look like for you?
He let it happen. It was part of the peace agreement. Like, what the freak?
No nuclear weapon, number one. You know, I think it's already been regime change, but we never had that as a.
There is no regime change.
Criteria. No nuclear weapon. That's 99% of it.
Strait of Hormuz as well?
Yeah, but that'll open up automatically. The answer is yes, but the strait will open up. If we just left, the strait's going to, otherwise they make no money. So the strait's going to open. But what we have is no nuclear weapon, but we'll.
He said they would make no money. They're charging $2 million a pop. $2 million a ship. What is he talking about?
Open the strait anyway. Don't forget, we don't use the strait. Other countries use the strait. So we do have other countries coming up, and they'll help out, but we don't use it. It won't be easy. It won't be. I would say this: we will have that open fairly soon.
What's your backup plan? What's your backup plan?
Diamond Gang is getting ready to be boots on the ground. I promise you that.
You don't need a backup plan. We have.
See, you don't need a backup plan. This is why we are where we at now with no exit strategy. You do need a backup plan.
The military is defeated. Their military is gone.
He keeps saying that, and I showed you guys the numbers. They have 920,000, and that's including reserve, military-wise.
We've degraded just about everything. They have very few missiles. They have very little manufacturing.
Y'all keep believing this man. He keep getting caught in these lies.
capability.
Yeah.
We've hit them hard. Our military is amazing, the job they've done.
Sorry, sir, is this a one and done talk, or are you open to?
But remember, guys, we obliterated them about a year ago. We were supposed to have destroyed and did all of this stuff a year ago. But okay, it's up to you guys to believe them.
I don't know. I can't tell you. I have to see what happens tomorrow. They've been talking for 47 years with other presidents, and we're not doing much talking. Thank you very much. Thank you.
This dude want to be the toughest. That's the end of that. Like, I can't. All right, I'm going to take some comments and then, are we over 2 hours? Yeah, we're 2.5. Listen, subscribe to the channel. Soon, eventually, I will be strictly going through StreamYard. And I'm going to tell you guys why. I do a vertical and a StreamYard, which is horizontal. I do both. If I could get you guys to come over to the horizontal side, it would be well worth it. I run ads. This channel is monetized. When I'm over here getting these thousands and thousands of views, I'm not getting paid for it. So I put all of this together and I come live for hours and hours, and I'm not being paid for it. So eventually I will slowly have to cut the vertical world off, even though I think the vertical side is lit. I love you guys. I do. However, I'm on here for a reason. So let's get to the comments. You said, yes, his allies, China and Russia, still go there, though. Exactly. They do. Well, Russia's helping Iran. What do you mean all the Republicans are giving Israel hungry and all of them taxing dollars? I'm just going through some of you guys. I know you guys are probably having conversations with each other, but I just want to read any comments in here about what's going on. No, let me tell you something. I'm not gaslighting. It's the truth. He's been caught in multiple lies. There is no gaslighting with that. And it's not a cult. It's the truth. And if the truth hurts, I'm sorry. But he's been caught in multiple lies. It is what it is. I'm about the truth. I can't stand a liar. And I'm going to say this like I say. If you lie, you will steal. And we know that he steals because he's a felon. And if you steal, you will kill. And we know that because he vowed to wipe out an entire civilization. So if you okay with that type of rhetoric, that's your prerogative. I'm not. I'm for the truth, and you will get the truth. Here. Okay? That's it. That's all. He is a liar and a cheat. Absolutely. Some of whoever that was, they don't like hearing the truth. My truth isn't the truth. I'm going to drop the link and you come up and tell me why my truth isn't the truth. We've seen the president lie multiple times. I'm going to drop the link and I'm going to invite you up and I need you to tell me what the truth is. Let's go. Hit the link. Hit the link. Hit the link. A lot of people see man is disgusted at the current administration. Somebody said, you are speaking truth. So many people are against opening their eyes. They can't. And it's sad. Y'all better wake up because it will affect you and your family. It will come to you. It will. But listen, Diamond Gang, I've been on for 2.5 hours. Please, please, please subscribe to the channel. Keep your notifications on. I am going to keep a close eye on the Melania Trump Epstein thing and possibly give an update on that. So make sure you guys keep your notifications on. It's almost 1:30 in the morning. I had a good time with you guys. I really did. I really did. I love the vertical world, but I got to start going live solely horizontal. So they're trying hard to get him out of office. So I want to say shouts out to my subscribers. If you are new here or if you're just passing through, thank you. Thank you to everybody that hit the like. This keeps me in the algorithm. You know, I don't ask for cash apps. I don't ask for super chats or super stickers. If you would like to support the channel, I would gladly appreciate it. But those likes are more important than anything. So, all right, Diamond Gang, I got to get out of here. Will you post your lives on YouTube videos? You mean chop them up and make them videos? They're on YouTube. Actually, I would love people to, my replay gang is weak. I will get 76,000 views on this live stream. When I ended, I'm pretty sure I had over 1K in the chat. I've been live for almost 3 hours. But it's like when my videos are out there, because I do horizontal and vertical, my lives are out there for people to replay. I don't get a lot of replays. So now I got to start like going horizontal. And I love this crowd. I love this audience. You know, I was given advice that when I go live, to try to get some of you guys over to the horizontal side because it's there. It's just few people in there. So who you calling a liar? Jerry? Who you calling a liar? Would you like to come up? Who you calling a liar? Trump? That's the liar. That's the liar. But you're entitled to your opinion. All right, y'all. Let me get up out of here. Look, Diamond Gang, I love y'all. Be safe. Have a good weekend. More than likely, you'll probably see me tomorrow night. Keep your notifications on and subscribe.
It's your under degrees. Sip with me. I'll pour it hot, so hot. I'll pour it sweet, so sweet. Spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your under degree, feeling great, spilling tea. Have a seat and join me. Sip some tea, unwind with me. Let's grab a snack and talk some smack. I'm your girl, I got your back. I got the news, I got the views. I bet you can't wait, I know you can't wait to sip this tea. Sip this tea. Spilling this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling this tea. Spilling and sipping 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 this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your under degree, shining bright, set the stage. Hollywood dreams, red carpet scenes, glitter and glow, the secrets I know. Drama with flair, I serve it rare. I got the scoop, I got the proof. I know you can't wait, so come and escape and sip this tea. Sip with me, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling this tea, spilling this tea, spilling this